not seep. The jukebox screams, the lights will weep. No justice here, just lies that can't. Coffee's cool, blood runs high. Corner table, a ticking clock. Whispers rise, stories write. No escapist, curse a spot. True crime cafe, where shadows stay. True crime cafe, where sins replay. True crime cafe, no price to pay. True crime cafe, every damn day. Every damn day. Fingers tapping, blackened keys. Sweat drips down, can't find peace. Eyes like daggers, cut through breeze. All these ghosts, they never leave. Who's the liar? Who's the prey? Who's the hunter in this play? True crime cafe, where shadows stay. True crime cafe, where sins replay.
And in the corner booth where shadows creep, cappuccino foam hides secrets deep. A jukebox hums with a vinyl scratch. The truth gets spilled like a coffee splash. A briefcase clicks like a loaded clip. Her lipstick's red like a murder tip. Every sip's a sin, every glance a blade. In this cafe where deals get made. At the hip-hop true crime cafe, where the night never turns to day. Jazz notes drip and the whispers play. A beat drops hard then fades away. The waitress serves a side of lies underneath those almond eyes. A cop's badge gleams like a ticking clock, the ticking clock of a midnight clock. Neon flickers, the scene's alive. The espresso's black, the stories thrive. A shot of truth, a shot of doubt. The cafe swallows secrets, spits them out. At the hip-hop true crime cafe, where the night never turns to day. Jazz notes drip and the whispers play. A beat drops hard then fades away. stripped like the lies they wear. In the corner, whispers crawl. Truth bleeds out on this stained wall. Blood stained through in the midnight haze. Dark close truths in a criminal maze. Sip the guilt, feel the crime. This cafe holds the edge of time. Footsteps echo guilt on tile. Shadows linger for a while. Murmurs twist the air to knots. Every cup a grave of thoughts. Blood stained through in the midnight haze. Dark rose truths in a criminal maze. Sip the guilt, feel the crime. This cafe holds the edge of time. Footsteps echo guilt on tile. Shadows linger for a while. Murmurs twist the air to knots. Every cup a grave of thoughts. Blood stained brew in the midnight haze. Dark rose truths in a criminal maze. Sip the guilt, feel the crime. This cafe holds the edge of time. Like smoke from the past, brewing secrets that never last. Every sip a confession screamed. This cafe ain't the place you dreamed. Blood stained brew in the midnight haze. Dark rose truths in a criminal maze. Sip the guilt, feel the crime. This cafe holds the edge of time. Shadows creep, cappuccino foam hides secrets deep. A jukebox hums with a vinyl scratch. The truth gets spilled like a coffee splash. A briefcase clicks like a loaded clip. Her lipstick's red like a murder tip. Every sip's a sin, every glance a blade. In this cafe where deals get made. At the hip-hop true crime cafe, where the night never turns to day. Jazz notes drip and the whispers play. A beat drops hard then fades away. The waitress serves a side of lies underneath those almond eyes. A cop's badge gleams like a ticking clock, the ticking clock of a midnight clock. Neon flickers, the
All right. Welcome back, everybody. It is a late night open discussion here at the cafe. Thank you for joining us. Please hit that like button on your way in the door. Who knows what we're going to look at and talk about, but we're going to do it together. The best way to do it. So thank you guys so very much for joining me, guys. Please make sure to share this out. Hit that like button. Let everybody know that we're hanging out in here. It is a late night show. So please, if you please do that, if you will. Thank you so very much. That being said, let's get this show on the road. Here we go.
Blood on the counter, the coffee's cold.
All right, y'all. Welcome back. Good to have you here tonight. Thank you for joining us. I hope you're all having a great night tonight. Little True Crime Cafe hangout, late night hangout with me, Mr. Dago. And I appreciate you guys joining me. That was a thing. It's not finished yet, so don't mind the way it was running. I'll get it together, though. I promise you. It's just a little something I'm working on. I was trying to play it to see how it would look, but I'm not there yet. I got to cut things and move things, so thank you for being my guinea pigs. Come on in, grab a seat. It's a late one, folks. I figured, what the hey, I'm wired and wide awake. I had to move a refrigerator out of my house into my house because my refrigerator died. Luckily, we had another one in the garage, which was sadly been in better shape than the one we took out. It's almost like new. So I moved that one out. We moved that one out, moved the other one back in, and had to get that working. So let's see what we got here. Who do we got with us in the house? Out of my house, into my house. Yes. Out of my house, into my house, Tandy. It's a little exercise we do. We take refrigerators and we run them outside and we run them back in. It's a thing. So tomorrow when you see me, I'll probably be sitting like this because I hurt my neck. I'm not supposed to move things, but my son can't. He can't yet. So I did it anyway, you know, typical father stepping in the middle and saying, move, I got this. And I'm not supposed to, but I did. So yeah, I hurt my neck. I pulled it a little too hard to the right, and right here is killing me now. So it is what it is. My stupidity, I get to deal with it. No, it's standing still now, Tandy. It's running. I got it working. Yes, my refrigerator was running. It was running. My refrigerator, it was running. It was, Jenny. It's my Frigidaire. It keeps my food cold. We've had that fridge for 6 years, and it died. So the one that's been in the garage that's over 12 years old is in better shape and running now. CBD cream. Oh, Annie, you want to get me all jacked up, huh? It was running. My fridges go together like peas and carrots. They do. All right, who we got in here tonight with us? So, it's she here. Tarisha. Welcome back, Tarisha. Jacob Monster with this question for the Idaho Force situation. We'll talk about that. Christina, good to see you tonight. Annie Ruler, welcome back to you. Miss Tarisha. Is it two Tereshas? No, same one. Okay. Number 9, Katie Batch. Good to see you, Katie. Babs is in the house. Good to see you, Babs. Let's see here. She-Hawks fan, Miss Tandy, welcome back. Christina, let's see. Miss Charlotte, good to see you. Candy girl. Can't do it anymore. Laying in bed bored right on time. Well, good. I'm glad to see that I could be of service to you. Moonlit Baby always in the house. Welcome back to you. Pago Jewel 27's in the house. Good to see you, sir. There goes that loser. He's on my radar, and I want. Oh, gotcha. Okay. Let's see. Tammy She. Good to see you, Tammy. So Niles Buckman. Good to see you, sir. The Borg is in the house. Welcome, Borg. And he was dancing in here at some point. Good Lord. Teresa was listening to an older live just now. Uh-oh. Make sure you hit them like buttons, guys, and share it out. I need that help. Terry Martin. Hello, Miss Terry. Good to see you. Yes, we can talk about that. There were some other documents dropped in Idaho, believe that or not. I did see that, Teresa. We can talk about that for sure. Adrian's in the house. I'm wired too. Been getting my art. Awesome. That is awesome. I can't wait. You should send me a picture when you're done, Adrian. I love art rooms. I love special rooms. I got toy rooms and stuff. Show. Let's see here. Show. The discussion is whatever you choose that you want to discuss tonight, Miss Charlotte. I'm sure we'll fall into something. I just like having these open discussion groups with you guys to talk about what the hell ever we talk about and just do some interacting. I will open the panel up. Anybody that wants to discuss things and use your voice, we can do that. Fizzy Cake. Good to see you. Oh, Lord. That's not cool, Fizzy. Good to see you, Terry. We can also discuss the documents that were dropped in Idaho today or yesterday. So Jacob's question is, if the DoorDash driver saw Brian because he was right next to her, why didn't she call 911, notice the people? Because she didn't see him, Jacob. And that's my opinion, of course, but there's no way she was sitting right next to him if she says she was where she was. It's bullshit. I think she was either fed that or chose to make that statement because she needed to, whatever. Or she was told to say, this is where you were at this time and what you were doing. I don't believe that at all. It makes no sense. It makes no sense because why would a DoorDash driver drive all the way up behind the house and sit in that parking lot when the front door is right there? I don't believe that. Sorry. I just don't. I don't believe it. And yeah, Fizzy, she may not have even been there. That's a good point. Not as of late, Borg. Not as of late. I have not heard anything from him. Please share this out, you guys. Let's get some peeps in here and do this combo thing. I love these late night conversations with y'all. Come on. Come on. We got 36 peeps in the house with 10 likes. Come on, y'all. Pretend like you like me for a little bit, please. Just pretend. Make believe. Let's play make believe. Make believe that you like Dago and you're going to hit his like button. That's all we got to do. Probably won't. Yeah, that's a good point, Tandy made. But we probably won't hear anything from him until that's lifted. Then he has the right to say whatever he can then or wants to. Do you remember when I said I thought the DoorDash tree driver was probably nefarious? I think I know what you're talking about. Could be, Katie. Could be. It's a good point. Tomboy is in the house. I'm pretending because it's Tuesday. Okay. Whatever works. If that's what it takes, just pretend like you like me for just like an hour or two. Hit that like button. And then after that, you don't have to anymore. You don't have to. I promise. Can a judge gag this forever? I don't think so, Borg. I think at some point, I mean, the judge can do what he wants to do, but I think at some point they would have to release it, I would think. That now, here's the thing, though. If they want to, they can still redact things if they release it. You know what I'm saying? They can still redact things, just like the JFK files were. They don't have to tell us everything, and they can hide things in there, black it all out, and say, here you go. Here's the garbage you already know, and you don't need it anymore. They never, wait a minute. They never said what car DoorDash. I don't think so. Or passengers. See, she made a statement at one point in time where she said that she was driving and she was alone. That makes me wonder that if she did this, she may have done this with another person with her. Just saying. Well, they're stealing everything. They're hiding things, in my opinion, folks. Completely hiding things. Why are they hiding things if Brian did this now? Non-dissemination orders and sealing orders are district. A non-dissemination order typically restricts those involved in a case from publicly sharing information or speaking to the media about it. A sealing order, however, makes the actual court records inaccessible to the public unless a court order or subpoena specifically allows access. There you go. And that came from the one and only Tomboy. Thank you, Tomboy. Jacob has another question. Just you watching the last episode of One Night in Idaho, a frat boy said he was driving people home that night This cart was similar to the one on the camera. I gotta remember, and I can't play it in here by any means. I know who you're talking about. I just can't remember who that was. Guys, hang loose for 1 minute here. I gotta grab something. I will be right back. Give me a second here. I'll even give you guys a little taking a break sign. We'll be right back, guys.
In the corner booth where shadows creep, cappuccino foam hides secrets deep. A jukebox hums with a vinyl scratch. The truth gets spilled like a coffee splash. A briefcase clicks like a loaded clip. Her lipstick's red like a murder tip. Every sip's a sin, every glance a blade. In this cafe where deals get made. At the hip-hop true crime cafe, where the night never turns to day. Jazz notes drip and the whispers play. A beat drops hard then fades away. The waitress serves a side of lies underneath those almond eyes. A cop's badge gleams like
All right, guys. Sorry about that. I won't ever leave you alone again with no kind of entertainment, I promise you. That is my email address for whoever wanted it. Hi, Contessa. Good to see you tonight. It's extremely concerning that we're seeing so much blatant, in-your-face corruption going on in these cases, and nothing is done about it. It's beyond concerning. It's scary at this point because this is society now. That's what bothers me. As we see what has happened with Richard Allen, what almost happened with Karen Reed, and what has happened with Brian Koberger, this can happen to anybody. You, me, our brother, sister, whatever, guys. Anybody. So please stay clean. That's all I can say. That's the best way to put it. It's crazy, though, that it can happen like that. It really is. You are welcome, Contessa. Y'all, that stinking connected investors ad knocks me out. I'm sorry. If it's coming from me, I apologize. I have no control. It's a blatant violation of his human rights, in my opinion, and anybody else's that's involved in something like this. I have some updated stuff on the the Delphi stuff as well. I got quite a few different things that we can look through and just saying. Now everybody's out here running around with all this new information out of James Patterson's book. I found a place I think that we might be able to read it, but I got to be careful with that stuff because I don't know what's going to be struck or not. So you just got to be careful. I don't want to read the book. I don't want to pay the man for writing the book because I'm kind of pissed that he did what he did. But I do want to know how things are in there, what they did with it. So I'm curious to know what this Vicky Ward, the investigator that he hired to do his reporting so that he could write from what she told him. Now, that's what bothers me is I don't know anything about her. Her name's Vicky Ward. That's all I know. She's a British PI that did the investigating for Patterson to be able to write what he wrote. And I just don't trust in that. I think everything should have came from law enforcement, but he didn't do that. So I don't know. Yeah, see, that's where I'm at. If it was handed off to me, because I think somebody said they can send it to me through email and I can read it that way. I don't know that I will. I say I want to know what's in it, but I don't want to give him the pleasure of reading it. Does that make sense? Truly, I don't. It's the same thing I went through when they put out the Gabby Petito movie. I refused to watch it because it was ignorant to me. It was ignorant to me, and it was a bunch of bullshit that they put it out. So I just didn't watch it. I just didn't watch it. And I still have no urge to watch it. I know the story. I reported on it. I covered it. That's enough for me. That's what I figured, Charlotte. I knew one of you guys had sent it to me, and that's fine. And I don't know if I should scan through it or if I should just, I don't know. Like I said, I'm torn with this. I don't want to give the man the pleasure of paying for it or reading his bullshit. It's fiction to me, but I want to know what he put in it. Because some of the stuff we saw and heard in it, that's where some of that stuff that I told you with Michael Koberger came from, where he saw his old friend, said that the sheath was planted, there's drugs in the house, and that Brian didn't do this. That's interesting to me. So if they're putting actual stuff in there like that, I think Hitler needs to read the damn book. Just saying. I know it sounds dumb, but truly, I believe that would probably be interesting. What would it be under, Charlotte, if I were to look and see it? Hang on here. Let me see something. I did get somebody had sent me something. If you're in here, Thomas, if not, that's my point, Charlotte. That's exactly what I'm expecting it to be, is a lot of false bullshit, like what we've seen. I got sent some information, and thank you for that, from somebody that has a legal background. I fully agree, Candy. There definitely shouldn't be anything. Scott Green shouldn't have been able to do it either. Thank you, Terry. So, obviously we know a waiver of appeal is generally upheld in most instances, right? But it's not an absolute. For people that don't understand, a defendant can still appeal even after waiving their right to appeal, but it is only under specific circumstances, folks. While a waiver in a plea agreement typically means giving up the right to challenge or sentence on appeal, there are exceptions. And this is what I've been kind of holding off to see. Oh, okay, Charlotte, I gotcha. I'll check that here in a minute, Terry. Number 1 is an involuntary plea. Okay. Number 2 is an illegal sentence. Number 3 would be jurisdictional defects. Number 4 is judicial misconduct. And I think that we have that to an extent here. Depends on, we definitely have prosecutorial misconduct, okay? So there's that. Ineffective assistance of counsel. Now, I don't know that Brian would claim that, because I feel that he feels very strong and comfortable with Ann, but as a tactic, it would be a good idea. And last but not least, this is one of the most important ones, and I think this could be it too. Violation of the Sixth Amendment rights, which would be the big one, okay? And this came out of a legal book. It says this. Hey, Jessica D, good to see you. And it's good to know these things, because these are the options that he has. Not to mention, there's probably a couple others that we didn't talk about, but there's that. Good to see you, Jessica. Satiris is in the house. What's happening? All right. Like I said, I'm pissed off at Patterson, for one. I was a huge fan of his, and I read a lot of his stuff. 2, because he did this now. 1, I cannot no longer support him as a writer. And 2, I think it's probably 90% bullshit. And I think it's just another form of ignorance and propaganda put against somebody that I believe is innocent of a crime that he was accused of. And it's just ignorant to me. So that's my thought on that. So just saying. Hold on here. And I'm guessing that. So another story that I was reading. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Kim, Xana's aunt Kim. She told during a conference call, I guess she said that with prosecutors, she said, "Don't you dare do this. Do not dare put this out there." They did not want him to do it, and they did. She said it was ridiculous because at least two of the families wanted Koberger to face a jury. At least two. There was, I believe, Jeff definitely wanted to. Xana's dad. So. Also, I had a clip of something here I wanted you guys to hear. Hang on a minute. 1 second, please. Yeah, Terry, hang on a minute. Just a minute. What the hell?
At Sierra, you'll always find apparel, footwear, and gear for 20 to 60% less than department and specialty store prices. But right now, it's clearance time, so you can save even more on everything you need to get active and outside. Visit your local Sierra store today.
Hello and welcome to the TMZ podcast. I'm Branson Quirk.
I'm Stephanie Williams.
And we are here again. We were here and we
Koberger having a full life in prison is not in comparison.
I mean, just to wrap this up.
I don't want to sit through this. I'll find it. Hold on. 1 minute, please. What did you send me, Terry? Hang on. Hold on. Okay, hold on. Let me get this link dropped. Give me 1 second, please. And anybody's welcome to join us up here tonight. Like I said, it's an open discussion. The panel is always open for that as well. So the link is pinned at the top of the chat. Let's talk tonight, guys. Let's do it. Welcome, Mr. Girl. Good to see you. Are you talking about the investigator, Mr. Girl? Yeah, I saw something about her. That's exactly what I'm telling you. It is. It's a bunch of bullshit. Welcome, Randy Burr. Good to see you tonight, brother. Good to have you here. I appreciate you so much. Angel D is in the house. Come on in. WB, good to see you. So we got 76 peeps in the house, 45 likes. Like I said, guys, it's just make believe. Just pretend like you like me for a little while so we can get this in that algorithm. What's happening, Terry? Can you hear me, Terry? Ground control to Terry Martin. Can you hear me? Hello. Yo, I got to get my sound effects panel back up and running. Miss Terry.
Okay, now can you hear me?
I can. Hello.
Hello. Okay. Sorry.
Ground control. How are you tonight?
Good. Okay, so this is the weirdest, beyond weird picture. I was watching Birdie just now, and Phoenix had gone to the prison, I guess. And this is, I guess, I've never been to a prison, but I guess you have like a picture with the cell number and that kind of stuff of the cellmate. And this is what they have pictured for Brian Koberger.
As what? His cellmate?
That's him. That's what
That's
they
not,
have.
That's not Brian.
No, it's not Brian.
Not at all. That is not Brian.
So
I'm telling you right now.
I know it's not. So they're
Mm-mm.
saying that's Brian. They have his name, everything on it, and that's at the jail. And apparently, Phoenix said that she's received calls from some other family members saying that what we're seeing pictures on is not their relatives on like TV. What they're showing us.
Yeah, he's still in Ada County right now until his sentencing for one.
Well,
So
this is where she went to the jail that he's supposed to be right now.
see, I'm gonna tell you right out of the gate. That guy right there, first off, the sides of his hair were just recently shaved and faded. That's not that. Two, the nose is
It's
wrong.
not him.
It's not at all. The hair's too dark, and this guy looks like he could be possibly Latino. Brian's not Latino, so that's
Why do they have that picture? Is he not even in? Is this guy the guy that's serving time for Brian? That's serving the time, and all we're seeing is Brian in court.
what I don't think so. Where did this come from? Again, explain that to me.
Okay, if you ever watch Birdie, because I know I've seen you on there, and Phoenix, she
Yes.
is on there sometimes. She
Yeah,
has
I've
her
seen it
own
both.
show. She actually lives in Idaho,
Mm-hmm.
and she went to the cell that she was going to try to do some audio something or another. I have no idea. And this is the picture that they have listed, they have shown with his name and everything. This is supposed to be Brian Koberger.
So this was taken for are they saying that they went into the jail itself
Yes, she
and
went into the jail, and I do not know how far she went, but I don't think she would lie. So
there's no I know what you're saying, but and I'm not saying you're wrong, but there's no way they would let her in there. No.
Not all the way. No.
No, they wouldn't even allow her to go into other than like the front desk or something. Sure,
Right,
she could do
something
that.
like that. But they have pictures of the cellmates.
But you can look it up, I think, on
I'm just saying, I don't know.
I
I'm
think
just showing
Ada
you it.
County. Yeah, Ada County has like an inmate search or something like
Well,
that.
look, can we search it?
Oh yeah, we can definitely look it up because that's
Yeah, let's search it and see what they have. Maybe I'm just going by this just
no,
happened
I know
just
it's not you're anything, but hold on here.
I'm just saying I would love to see what they have pictured on because I haven't had a chance to look. I mean, literally they just got off that show.
I can't remember where we saw it at before, but hang on. Oh, not that one. Hold on. There's like many different versions of this, and
In
it's a
fact,
lot.
even if you want, you can play Birdie's show. He just played part of it, the part that she talks about this.
Okay, well, hold on here. Let me see something real quick then. She said it's gone now.
Who did?
Teresa just said she said it's gone now.
Was Teresa? Teresa was on there, wasn't she? I think.
Probably. Yeah, that's what she's saying. Hold on. Did you send me something else too, Terry? No, you just sent
I
me.
accidentally sent it twice. Sorry.
That's all right. It's fine. Just give me a second here to look this up. Excuse me. 1 minute. Okay. No, that's to send money. I'm not doing that. Hold on.
Busy Cake said, yeah. Phoenix said it was deleted. Wait, what? It went so fast. Hold on.
All right, hold on. Well, let's check that first and see if maybe something was clarified. Hold on. 1 minute. 1 minute. Thank you guys for joining us tonight.
Oh, okay. Phoenix said, yeah, I'm sorry, Fizzy Cake said, yeah, Phoenix said it was deleted or thought it was. But why would it have been on there in the first place looking like that? That's
Yeah, I don't
weird.
know. Let me see. How long ago did they do this live?
Just right before yours.
Like an hour ago. Okay, I see it. Hang on here. You know how far in, Terry? Roughly?
Yeah, it was towards the end.
Okay. So, let's see here. Wow. How about that? I walked right to it. This is crazy.
Did
I'm
you
good with
really?
that. I swear to look, I scrolled right to it. First try.
You're funny.
Look at it. Right there. That's it. Yeah, that's definitely not Brian. That is definitely somebody two different people there, in my opinion. Okay. Well, let's see what they're saying here real quick.
Okay.
Maybe they got the wrong inmate. I don't think so.
You might want to back it up just a little so you can get from what she said that the reason she was there.
Hold on, I'm just trying to get
AI
it.
rosters.
There we go.
Jesus Christ.
Wow.
Dive into, well, we know the research grants already, so we don't need to do that one. We know the court docs. This is saying investigate the King Road roommates and connections to the cadet program or drug court funnel. What's
Thank
a
you,
drug
Noel.
court funnel?
So drug court is when you get caught for any. They have drug and alcohol court. It's basically the same one. They have a special court, just like they have a special court for veterans. It's veteran court. So if you get caught with substances, they could give you a rider and say, look, you could be an informant. We'll wipe your record. You help us, we'll help you. Or they
Thank you
could
so
go to
much,
drug
Noel.
court
God
and say,
bless
no,
you.
you got to go to rehab. Why do you think they're trying to get Molly into rehab so bad? So it's a specific court just for drugs and alcohol.
Gotcha. It's like driver's school where you got to go get your points reduced.
Yeah, kind of like that.
This is a true story. I had a friend, I'm not going to say his last name. His name was Jacob in high school. He got however many speeding tickets when he was like a junior in high school. So he had to go to points reduction class. He saw our gym teacher in there, and our gym teacher up north apparently had road rage and pit maneuvered somebody. I think the tie-in for the cadet, this is 2023 though. So, I mean,
is that the plan? We're cooked. There you go. Play that song.
Yeah,
we're so fucking. Now I have had, and this is in full disclosure, I can't.
Hang on, folks. I'm trying to
have had people's family members reach out to me and say,
that ain't.
My face out of
there.
Yeah,
I did.
Put the big picture up there, and that is freaking not Koberger.
Who the hell is this guy?
I don't know.
I need the Conor McGregor voice of like, who the fuck is this guy? What the hell?
I don't know who that is. Not the ears. I ran it through AI. Doesn't match Koberger at all. Especially the ears.
That ain't Brian Koberger.
I tried to do a side picture of him just from court. It's not him. And that's why I was screaming and throwing a fit, and my video has gone crazy. That's not him.
I wonder if, let me just see if I can enhance this.
I know we
see. They're trying to see if he was somebody else.
And I've got the emails to prove I requested video calls with him. Not because I'm some crazy, this guy. No, it was because I wanted to dig and find the truth of what was going on in this case.
Jesus Christ.
I know, I just threw a loop. But I ran it through AI, asked everything. It said, no, the hairline's off and the ears are not correct.
I'm trying to.
It's a decoy. Yeah. That's definitely not Travis Decker either. And that is a real photo from Ada County Jail. It's in there. It has his inmate number and everything.
I can hear you guys over it. Does that look like Brian Koberger, babe? Oh, sorry, your pajamas. Whoops. She looked at me like, what are you doing? All right, here we go. Let's finish this up. Come on. I'm going to refresh it.
No, I'm not dating him from jail. I'm happily married.
Come on.
Anyone can
I'm
go
sure
on
it's
getting
a
make an
picture
account, ask
because
to do a video
can you
call.
imagine how many people
Someone said
go
they
there?
took a picture though after my
Yeah.
video. So either someone's watching us or the word has got back around.
Yeah,
They all
I
have
agree, Sherlock.
dating jail profiles. Yes, that's what I kind of concluded. So I was just gonna fuck back with them. Keep making videos.
Okay, wait, that kind of worked. That kind of worked. Ish.
You gotta center it.
I don't know what to say. Here's the hang on. Here's the before. See after, before, after. So I definitely cleared it up a little bit. You know, you could tell it AI enhanced it. What if I did this?
Look at his beard growth, not so much as same as Travis Decker.
Hey,
It's not
Joe.
him.
Let's do this.
Not even remotely.
Oh, well, I might as well play this one more time, right, Phoenix?
Yeah.
My guess is if she went to go see him, can you imagine how many people do?
First off, they're not going to let anybody near him except for his attorneys. Period. That's it. Especially not now.
Okay, Dago, that brings up a great question.
Mhm.
Why are all these people writing him letters? Why not just write Ann Taylor or his attorneys or his some? You know what I mean? Why would you write?
They want to talk to him personally. That's what my understanding. I've heard people say it. So
Interesting.
I not that he's going to respond to anybody, but
What do
he
you
might.
guys say to him?
He might. I'm sure there's people that have. I've seen people say that they're writing him and asking him why he did it, and I'm sure they're not going to get answers. He's not going to tell anybody anything, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That's just how, you know what I mean. Especially not before sentencing, because it's just not going to happen. I don't believe. If anybody gets an answer out of this guy, I would be deadly surprised. What's up, Sarge? Good to see you tonight.
What's going on, Mr. Dago?
Oh,
Well, hello, Sarge.
Living the dream. Waiting for when you guys wake up.
Man, over the last few days, I've been quiet because I've just been kind of sitting back and watching and listening, and more people than not believe that he didn't do it, and they just can't separate their belief from the thoughts of what's there.
Oh, I know.
I mean, like that little image of somebody claiming that's Koberger or that blah blah.
There's going to be worse things and more coming, Sarge. You know that.
I'm like you, Sarge. I've taken a couple days off.
Listen, I don't know what scared the kid into doing it. He's either was scared into pleading guilty or he did it. And that's really the unanswerable question that we face now. Right. And every stream is still capitalizing on people's belief because you as a viewer believe one way or the other. And you just can't. Nothing is going to satisfy your taste for more because your belief is like it's never ending.
Right. Welcome, Randy. I agree, sir. I do. Like I said before, me personally, okay, he did what he did. So I accept what he did. What I'm not, and I accept whatever reason he had to do it, because that's what in his mind he felt he had to do, which was best for him. Do I believe it? No, but that's not my place. That's not. It doesn't matter what I think. You know what I mean? So, my what I believe could maybe we'll see something down the road here, or this is it, folks. That's only two ways to go. That's it. I
Hey,
definitely,
Randy.
I will definitely never believe he did it alone. That's one thing I do have to say. So, how we doing tonight, Randy?
Very good, Dago. Thank you for letting me up. Hi, Terry Martin, and hi, Sergeant Friday. How you guys doing tonight?
Awesome.
Hi, my main man.
So there are 1, 2, 3, 4 new documents, which was this one was a little strange, but okay. Order
Oh, the
sealing
one about
exhibit
Phil?
yeah, S1 state's response to defendants 24 supplemental requests for discovery, which I'm gathering from what I've heard that this is Dylan's phone. Why are they sealing that? If you remember,
Great.
Sarge, when they talked about they brought in that expert that was going to break down all her shit and pull back the messages and stuff that was deleted, right?
Right.
Why are they sealing that then?
It's not
If this is-
necessary now. The public doesn't have a right to know the personal information on her phone. It's not part of the evidentiary basis used to get a conviction. It's simply
Who cares? We want to know. Who cares? We want to know.
I know. Well, you can't.
No,
You can't
they
know
don't.
some things. Some
That's
things you're
good.
just not entitled to know.
That's a good point, Jesse. There's a link pinned at the top of the chat if you want to join us, sir. But yeah, it is still weird though. And then let's see here. This is they're asking. They were denied requests to video the record sentencing proceedings and approving pool. This is all the news crews that want this to be the gag to be ripped down. All right, Jesse, I'll show it.
Are they going to? I mean, it seems like they're sealing things instead of unsealing them.
That's my question. Are they going to remove that gag order?
Well, I don't think they're going to do it on the 17th, but after sentencing, I think it's possible. They're definitely not going to do it for the news crews. He don't care about that.
For the what?
This order right here, Randy. This is a motion they put forward to have a hearing on Thursday. Thursday.
Oh,
This
the
Thursday.
17th.
Yeah,
Okay.
to have the dissemination order removed. That's what this is right here, to vacate it. Okay. And it was put out by American Broadcasting, which is every news crew that was available to be here.
Right.
And they're the ones that are requesting this. He's not going to give them that. He don't give a shit what they want. And I guarantee you during the hearing, the first thing that's going to happen is Thompson's going to jump up again and say no. He almost jumped over his desk the other day during the plea hearing to stop that. So they don't want it out there yet. They want to
I
wait.
would have loved to have seen that.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
They want to wait till Thursday, and then I don't even know. Like Sarge, you know a little bit about this stuff. If he chooses for whatever reason, if he's asked to by specific people, he doesn't have to lift that gag order, does he?
Are we
I
talking
don't
hip?
know. I don't know that because it's an unusual situation. This entire case was sealed and gagged, and it's very unusual. I suspect that actually Koberger should have a copy of all of this stuff in his possession, or it should be in the possession of his attorney.
Yeah.
And what he
Do we
decides
even
to
know
do with it,
yet?
I don't think can be regulated. I think he could dump that out onto the Koberger himself could dump.
Do we
Okay.
even know yet what caused him to do this?
No,
We'll never
nobody
know.
knows. We're not gonna know, Terry.
No.
Unless they come forth with some weird ass miracle on the 23rd, in my opinion, and say, "Well, here's the deal."
Right.
And that's not going to happen. I mean, realistically, think about it. If we haven't gotten anything else at all in 2.5 years now, why would we get that now?
So we're gonna go through a whole day because that's what they're calling for, planning for a whole day long.
I don't worry about
Hearing
it.
that's not going to give us jack shit.
And we're not going to be watching it anyway, so it doesn't matter.
What? What? You're not going to be watching it?
If it's being shown stream, I will stream it live. Yeah.
No, they already said they're streaming it live.
Are you sure?
I'll
I'm
be
positive.
Okay, I believe you.
Yep.
Hey, they're
Oh,
not going
got
to let the public hang out because he was pushing for the public to have certain information. Hitler was, which surprised me. But anything they want to keep under wraps, they're going to do ex parte. They're not going to show us anyway, so that's fine.
As far as this thing goes on the 23rd, Hitler's already making plans for it possibly to go the 24th. So The whole setup they have, the times are out. 30 minute this and 40 minutes for lunch, and then a possible afternoon. And now he's talking about the possibility of going to the next day. What are we going to learn? Impact statements. That's who's going to come up and make impact statements.
The families will, if anybody, the families.
Which families? Which families, Dago?
I'll say this much. Steve Gonsalves did state that he wasn't making one, but I'm sure he'll probably change his mind. Maybe Karen and Scott, they may. The Chapins might. I don't know. Kara, if she's there, she may, but I doubt it. Jeff Kernodle, maybe. I don't know.
I'm gonna jump down. Jesse, if you want to get up, you can.
Oh, there's plenty of room, but yeah, you're welcome to jump up, Jesse, if you want.
Stay here, Terry.
I love you, Randy.
Oh man, you are my favorite.
Thanks for joining us.
I'm tired.
All right.
I'm gonna watch mine. Night, guys. Night, Sarge.
Good night.
Good night, Terry.
Good night. One thing that's quite obviously disturbing is the fact that even Bill Thompson admits they didn't have evidence placing him at the scene of the crime.
Right. Yeah.
And
Exactly.
the shocking thing to me is, just so you know, is that as true as that is, Brian still pled guilty.
Right.
Okay. And that question can only be answered by Brian Kohlberger. And in fact, it's that itself, the epicenter of truth may in fact be that he is the committer of this crime. And it's kind of shocking to me that so many of us that have followed this and paid a lot of attention to information that did not break the threshold of reasonable doubt are having such a hard time with even considering that Brian Kohlberger did do this. I'm rather shocked that I'm not shocked, I guess, disappointed that more people can't accept what he said for his word and stop digging for the conspiracy. Yes, this was mismanaged. Yes, they played a lot of games. Yes, even Thompson admits they can't put him in the house, but Brian placed himself in the house. Brian has taken full responsibility for this. And it seems as if none of that matters to anybody. It was like they held a gun to his head. But he was in that room when Mr. Thompson made that statement, the Cracker Claus dude. And yet he still stood up and said, I did it.
What do you think about it?
I think more people need to put that on their table when they look at this stuff. You can't forget what Brian had said in a room that there was all kinds of escape after Thompson made that statement, and yet he still ignored that.
All right, number one, he doesn't want to get shot.
Okay, but
I'd rather stay in jail than get shot. Or number two, there's some sort of cover up, or he's in a witness protection program.
So you're doing everything you can. You're doing everything you can to ignore facts that would contradict what you believe. You don't know that he was afraid of being shot. I don't know that. Only Brian does. There's no information.
How about you, Sarge? You want to get shot, Sarge?
If I was Brian Kohlberger, I would have kept going. I wouldn't have stopped. Yeah. If that's what has to happen to fight for what's right, absolutely.
Well, here's the thing with that, Randy, though. Even if they would have left the death penalty on the table, okay, and he were to be convicted, it's not going to happen the next day, the next week, the next month,
I know.
the next year.
Right.
And he has the ability to appeal at that point and probably flip this over. And he didn't do that. It's crazy.
I guess what I'm trying to show folks here is that what you believe isn't really relevant. It's the facts.
Which is
We've
true.
shown over and over again amongst ourselves, these facts did not place Brian in that house. And listen, pat yourselves on the back. The prosecutor himself confirmed your analysis.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
That's a win for all of us out here in the streaming world. However, Brian Kohlberger, even knowing that, decided to take full responsibility for this crime because possibly, folks, and I've said it for years, there's a trillion different ways he could have committed this crime. There's no way to show that he could never have been possibly the doer of this crime. Only he knows. Only the real murderer knows. And if it's him, he's saying it is him. So whether it was fixed, whether they lied, whether the PCA was a bunch of pafooey, okay. Bill Thompson essentially admitted that. Yet Brian Kohlberger has taken responsibility and said, I did it. And you have to keep that front and center when you're looking at some of this stuff and all of these screamers that keep playing on your beliefs.
What if he thinks, with his background and what he was doing, what if he thinks I'm going to accept this crime because, what am I trying to say? Nobody else could have done it. Only me. But he really didn't do it,
Here's the thing is that we can theorize to the end of the world. The facts that we assembled and that we questioned and that we placed in front of ourselves that were given to us by the authorities showed no fucking level beyond a reasonable doubt. We, as I've said over and over again, and you, my stream, Dago stream, other streams, other streamers have said this, a lot of that the information provided to the public did not reach even probable cause to arrest this dude. Yet here we are, 2.5 years later, 32 months later, and Kohlberger knows more than we know, and so did Ann Taylor.
Yeah,
and yet he decided to take a guilty plea.
Why was she smiling? Why was she smiling at him? That makes no sense.
Well, maybe she was pleased with what that feels like
took responsibility for something.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, that would be my figure too. She's
now
like,
real
okay,
quick, because you two weren't in here when I read this, but this was sent to me by Thomas Saka. He comes into your place all the time, Sarge. And he said that just to read this to all of you guys that popped in after the fact. It says, while a waiver of appeal is generally upheld, this came out of a law book, by the way. A defendant can still appeal even after waiving his right to appeal, but only under specific circumstances. While a waiver in a plea agreement typically means giving up the right to challenge or sentence an appeal, there are exceptions. Number one, it says that there are exceptions to the waivers recognized by the United States Supreme Court. And of course, I'd have to go up to that level to do this, but again, still. One would be an involuntary plea. So first and foremost, to go with that one, he would be questioned as to, because like I said, Judge Hippler built the record all the way to the top by the questions he asked him. Everything you could ask, he asked him to make sure he was right about what he was doing. So then he was going to say, if it was involuntary, he was forced to do it, coerced to do it. They asked him that, and he said, no, I wasn't. So he's going to have to explain and prove how and why it's an involuntary plea. So number two would be an illegal sentence. I don't know how that would apply to this, if at all. It may not. So now this one here, very possible. Jurisdictional defects. Okay. Very possibly could be. And judicial misconduct. That's going to depend on what Hippler knows or doesn't know. And that could relate to the prosecutorial misconduct that the prosecution passed along misinformation, lies, whatever, and used that to get to this point. And the judge ruled on it without looking into it. Maybe they could pull that on him, but I doubt it. The next one would be the ineffective assistance of counsel. Now, once again, he built up the record nice and solid on this by asking him if he was pleased with his counsel. Every question he could ask. And
ineffective counsel can't listen. You could be pleased with it all, and your counsel still be ineffective. But because you're not a purveyor of the law, you wouldn't know until another lawyer shows you. Okay, in your documentation that you've had from the courts where your lawyer was ineffective, and I'm telling you, she was extremely ineffective in the IGG. She really lost the case on that.
And that
she was also ineffective on the argument for alternative suspects. She literally that got destroyed by Hippler, and that should have continued. The challenge to that should not have been Hippler's sole ruling. She should have lost her shit on that one. She didn't.
And I don't understand why. That's a good point. They were all very complacent with this, and I was very disturbed by that. Truly, there was everything was just hurry up and let's do this. Boom, boom, boom. That was off to me. So I'm just saying. And the next one is the violation of your Sixth Amendment rights, which I definitely believe that's 100% part of this. So yeah, if he were to go into the courtroom on the 23rd and say, listen, Your Honor, I want to rescind my plea, And then he's going to say, why? And he's going to say, well, I spoke to another attorney over this period of time, maybe, and they said you should have done this for this, and this, and that means he
doesn't need to explain himself, and the judge has no basis to ask. He can ask him why, and Koberger need not answer.
Well, see,
he's not obligated to answer. He could simply say, I didn't commit the crime, but I was scared of the death penalty, and so I took this plea deal, and I should never have done that.
Right.
He don't really have to explain himself, Dago. I pray that if he didn't commit this crime, if he really in his heart didn't commit this crime, I pray every day that he actually comes forward and withdraws his guilty plea.
Agreed. Yeah, that's what my whole issue is with this. Why it's hard to accept it.
If he does that, what's Hitler going to say?
What's that?
If like he gets in there on the 23rd and says, "Look, I withdraw my plea. No, I didn't do this." What does Hitler do?
When Hitler loses his mind, he starts to grow hair in places he wish he had hair, and it's gotta go.
He's gonna get upset about it. I can guarantee. Right. And he's gonna refer back to the record, and he's gonna
say, a new lawyer should argue for a change of venue again, because that Hitler, literally in the last few rulings that he made, and the fact that he's letting the FBI lie to the jury that they were a tick, when in fact the information supplied by the FBI was done through investigative genealogy using Othram Labs, the same laboratory that couldn't identify Brian through the correct legal process.
Yep. Right. And Atlanta put out a video night before last on that, and it was super interesting. If you haven't seen it, Randy, go check it out.
I will.
But I'm still going to say this. I can't argue for his innocence or guilt, and I never did and never could, because we'll never know.
Right.
Even if he was acquitted, you're never going to know what happened in that house. His involvement, his non-involvement, more perpetrators, the victims that are victims, part of the perpetration. No one's going to know. That's the worst part about this case.
Now, the other thing too, Randy, though, is the big thing with this, and that's where it's going to get a little shaky. If he withdraws his plea and they decide to go to court on this, that's going to be held directly against him on the prosecution side of things, okay? Because they're going to stand up and say, Brian Koberger admitted guilt to this. He admitted that he did it.
They wouldn't be able to use that against him in court like that.
Hitler said he could. Hitler said he could, Sarge. He said this could be and can and will be used against you in the future if you decide to change your. I can't remember his exact words, but they did say they would. They could. Well, will they? I don't know, but he said they could.
The one thing that saves him. The one thing that saves him is they find out more information about somebody else.
Well, and this is my thought. I was thinking about this over the past few days. If, for instance, the defense took those, what was it, 6 or 7 other bits of DNA, Sarge, that were still that were untested.
Yeah, right.
If the defense were to go test all that, if they haven't already, and they come back with a different name that matches up to something that maybe they were looking at, or just in general, and they can prove that, I think that could slow this down, couldn't it?
At this point, no. The case is essentially closed with his plea. If he wants to change his plea and start the fight, from where it left off, that would be a different story.
How could they not?
Let me just say something. Here's a conspiracy theory. He took the plea to bring the corruption forward, to bring the actual doers of the crime forward. Listen, he reverses his plea, and let me tell you where there's some proof of that. Is that the car? There's an individual out there admitting that he was driving around that house that night,
right?
And he was in one of those documentaries,
right?
What's that new thing about the guy that actually passed the house at 4:00? I just saw that today. I didn't watch it. Did anybody see that?
No.
Something about the guy walking by the house at 4:00 in the morning. So
I didn't hear it, Randy.
Yeah.
But what were you saying, Sarge? The last bit of that? I didn't hear the last bit of it.
There was a documentary where a local frat guy was saying he was driving around the house that night. He was in that area.
The guy that was taking people home.
No,
from the party, I think. Yeah. You're right.
At that time, around 4:00.
Yep.
Right.
Said he didn't see anybody, though. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Did he see anything? Did he see anybody?
He says he didn't, but did he though?
Mm-hmm.
It'd be interesting to know what he drove, and I mean, so listen, the case is definitely
All right.
Up from the floor up, and there's a lot of curious things here. However, Mr. Koberger has taken responsibility for it. So,
all right, hold on.
I have to take him at face value.
Wait a minute. What about Molly Meth Head? Did she have anything to do with him changing his plea?
I don't think so.
Probably not.
I mean, do you believe she was even there?
No.
I don't.
I mean, she may have been there at some point, but I don't think she saw him, and I don't think she was there any longer than to drop off a bag, if anything.
Right. He would have had to park next to a running car. I mean, think about that. I mean, let me just park next to this car that's running and go in there and kill these people.
I still don't think that there was any car there that is related to the people that did this. I truly don't.
I don't think any car was involved in the crime whatsoever.
Right.
No, they came from.
However,
yeah.
However, Brian's told us he did it. And I'm sorry, that has to filter into our observations. I mean, that's the overriding fact that you really can't overcome in any of these conspiracy theories.
Do you think, Sarge, that maybe the reason why there was no allocation was because he had no idea? He has no idea what to say?
Who?
Because he wasn't there, Brian.
No, he seemed extremely articulate and actually extremely intelligent in in the manner he presented himself and how he spoke for that brief instant. I don't see anything with Brian Koberger that I would. He's on a platform of he's highly intelligent and capable to communicate for himself. So I didn't see, this. I don't know. I
when he said guilty. I mean, God, he was so cold, so hard, so it just didn't make sense.
He came off very confident. I know what you're saying.
Yeah, and confidence for a reason other than he really did it.
Well,
I don't know. God.
I think a lot of us haven't really accepted or even tried to accept that Brian Koberger committed the crime.
Not in that amount of time.
A lot of us refused.
Not people in that amount of time. No way.
Yeah, you just refuse. You refuse to accept it even when he says he did it. And that's because you believe in information. That's the problem with putting our belief into the data that we read and collect. It's not to be believed. It's to be observed. It's to be analyzed and made an understanding out of. However, the idea that Brian couldn't have done this is kind of nixed when Brian says I did it. And so how do you overcome that in a logical way? You really can't. But in an emotional way, you refuse to accept it. And that's what I mean when I say when you think or you argue for what you believe. And that's why I'm able to say I accept Brian Koberger on his word that he did it.
Right.
I think he's in witness protection. That's the only way.
There's no fact to support that.
No, I know that, but that's
the only problem.
Maybe that's what I want to believe.
Well, a lot of people are in that boat, and he's right about that one, Randy. But here's my thing. The only reason why, and I've sat here and said, okay, maybe he did it. That's it. Maybe he did it. And that's it. Okay. My biggest issue with why this is hard for me to say, okay, is because of everything else that we saw in this case that points away from him. Those are factual pieces of information that say, he didn't. And I can't seem to go past that. Okay. I just can't. That's my only problem with it. Other than that, I don't understand it because other than that, it does make no sense. And Sarge is right. The actuality of it is that the man said yes. He agreed to it. He didn't say I did it, but he said yes to the questions that were asked.
Listen, the same struggles that people are having now, I had during the entirety of the case. And I kept trying to tell people not to believe in anything just to think about it. Thinking and believing are two different things. Once you believe something, no contradictory evidence will change your mind. Even, and I said this for a long time, even if Brian admits it, you people aren't going to accept it.
Right.
Because you've been trained. Listen, you've been trained to believe in data and you don't understand how detrimental that is. You're so conditioned. You've got so many years of living life this way because we've been taught to be that way. And then we argue over our beliefs. And then we look for arguments that'll support our beliefs, whether they exist or not. And I'm not trying to be rude. I'm trying to be really nice here. I believe in witness protection. It isn't the process of thinking logically. That is the process of trying to argue what you believe. And that's why the world and why society and all the chaos that we suffer amongst each other is we're always divisive based on belief rather than the thought of the data in front of us.
All right. So here it is, Sarge. You think he's a killer, right?
No, I accept that.
Come on. You're so,
I think that. I think that he is because he told me he is.
Okay. So you believe it.
Listen, I would still accept contrary evidence if provided. If something came out to show this kid couldn't do it and he falsely accepted it because of whatever, now you hear his story, right? I'll accept that just as quickly as I'm accepting this.
How simple is it that he decides, I don't want to get shot, so I'm going to plead guilty to this and hope the fact that an ongoing, looking into this finds something that proves him not guilty. What's your choice? That's what I would take. I would take that.
You don't know that that's the situation, though. Where's your
I have no choice. You're going to shoot me. You're going to shoot me if I admit guilt. Or
but what about
and say I'll stay in prison, for the rest of my life because I think sooner or later somebody's going to find out the truth.
What about
that's the way I see it
for his pleas, his appeals, though, Randy? Like,
no, he has no appeals. That sucks. But if they find information, he can get an appeal. If they find information that might prove the fact that he didn't do it, he can get an appeal through the Attorney General.
Yeah, he can. But again, that's what I'm saying. He had that ability to have without having to go through that.
Right. He had a trial that he could have attended, that he could have established his innocence through reasonable doubt, and he chose not to. And there's facts to support. Listen, there's facts to support what I'm stating to you, but you have no fact to support witness protection, other investigations, nothing. He was afraid of a bullet. You have no proof of that. It's your opinion.
You're right.
Right. And I'm not trying to be mean to you, and I'm not trying to be, smarter than anybody else in the room. I'm just pointing to folks that this is the one thing I've fought for the last several years, that we need to stop believing and start thinking. Don't let your belief overwhelm your capacity to see the proof that's right at your nose.
Yeah, where's the proof that he did it, Sarge?
His own statements, his own admittance to the court.
That's the only thing.
That's all you need, bro. That's the place you start with.
Okay,
right.
Then he did it.
Sadly, that's
then
true.
You're admitting that he did it.
Well,
you
based
believe
on
that?
what he said.
You believe that?
You have to accept it because that's what the guy that's being accused is telling you.
Yeah, truly, Randy, like whether we like it or believe it or not, we have no choice but to accept it. That's the problem.
Okay. Well, then we can move on to some other cases and the story.
Yes.
Is that the way you guys really feel? Why are you still on talking about this? Why are we still talking about this?
Because
there's something wrong here. There is something wrong, and I'm sorry. I don't mean to be so rude to everybody, but there's no reason for all these channels to be talking about this if they think.
Sure there is.
Okay.
What my issue is, why I still have these conversations, is because I want to know, put Brian to the side for a minute, okay? Take Brian out of the equation. My biggest issue with this entire case has always been why the investigation was done the way it was, why the corruption is there, what the deal is behind all that, and what goes on in this area on a regular basis. I don't even have to talk about Brian. I want to talk about all that other stuff because that's never been talked about. Well, I mean, it's never, not that it's never been talked about, but
you talk about the Idaho Police Department.
That's the most important part of this entire thing, in my opinion. That's how Brian ended up in this situation.
Yeah. It's because of them from the very beginning.
That's
all
why
the bullshit, all the lies, all the cover-ups that the LA Police Police Department did.
Right.
Makes you want to continue on trying to figure out what's going on with this case,
and that's all I want is to know. I still want the truth, but I want to know what the corruption shit is all about and why, and who was involved in it. That's what I'm still talking about. And that's we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. I pulled this article yesterday. I was looking at it, and I wanted to read this to you guys today. earlier, and I forgot about it. So I'm glad we could talk about it tonight. And it's really interesting. I mean, it's simple, basically. The study showing innocent people choose false guilty pleas and false testimonies to gain benefits. Now, I'm not saying that this is what it is, okay? But this is interesting. It says a study into human tendencies concluded that the risk of the innocent pleading guilty and falsely implicating others is real, and that it is a global phenomenon, one that transcends borders and legal systems. The study included college students from the United States, South Korea, and Japan, and it found that 30 to 50% of all innocent study participants were willing to plead guilty, and up to 56 of those participants falsely implicated another participant. The criminal justice structure imagined by the founders of the U.S. Constitution envisioned a system of trials to resolve criminal cases. This was in accord with the common law in 1783. An English court wrote a confession from the mind of a a confession from the mind by the flattery of hope or by torture or fear. Fear comes in so questionable a shape that no credit ought to be given to it. Plea bargaining rose to the fore after the American Civil War. Appellate courts, however, rejected them. In Wilson versus the United States, 162 U.S. 613, 1896, the U.S. Supreme Court said that the true test of admissibility is that the confession is made freely, voluntarily, and without compulsion or inducement of any sort. Inducement meaning, a range of fear, force, a coercement, and something like that. Okay, being cornered, whatever you want to call it. That ruling, however, did not put an end to plea bargains. It merely pushed the practice into the shadows. In the early 1900s, New York defense attorneys stood outside night court with monetary-based plea offers for $300. A case could be resolved within 10 days in jail, $200 for 20 days, $300 for 30 days, and Chicago fixers negotiated between the prosecution and the defense. I mean, this has no bearing on anything. It's just interesting. It was in that era that criminal statutes and criminal codes increased dramatically. The phenomenon of overcriminalization was at its height in 1919. With the start of prohibition by 1925, about 90% of criminal cases were resolved via plea bargains. Still, the Supreme Court rejected them in Walker v. Johnson, 312 U.S. 275, 1941. The court found a guilty plea unconstitutional because of the inducements made to obtain it. So that phrase right there. So in that case right there in 41, the court found the guilty plea unconstitutional and rejected the plea deal because of the inducements that were made to obtain it. Have a good night, Charlotte. The inducements could be anything, folks. It could be that he was threatened. It could be that his family was threatened. It could be that it, like Sarge said, ineffective counsel, and he just didn't understand that.
No, it's even simpler than that. It could be the prosecution's refusal to cooperate with a timely discovery, which resulted in the incarceration of an individual for an extended period of time. They could put that person in a hopeless. I mean, look at.
Good point.
So yeah. I'm not going to ever argue his innocent or guilt. The kid said he did it. I understand he may not have done. There's a million reasons that you can give me to say, well, he probably did or he couldn't have. Okay. But really, the whole issue this whole time I've been trying to focus people on is the process and the data given. You can make an argument, an infinite argument, as to where the process failed the state of Idaho, and without having to argue innocence or guilt. And nobody ever wants to do that. They only want to argue whether they believe he didn't do it. The blah blah blah. It's nonsense. That's the confusing argument that I've tried to eradicate. I can sit here and give you a list of things that took place in this case that would play right to what Dago's reading you, and many of you can too. And that's the problem with this crime. It isn't even the horrific crime. It's how the crime was handled by the judicial system. That's our biggest problem.
Right.
And nobody wants to pay attention to that because they say it's politics. This is true crime, not politics. Well, shut the fuck up with that. It's all politics when you get into crime, you get into law enforcement, you get into trials. It's all about that. And so, The argument that he's innocent, I cannot accept because he confessed. The argument that he may have been forced to confess and therefore may in fact be innocent, I'll consider that.
Right.
But making the case and tearing apart what they did to this guy is what the focus should be if there's going to be any talk about Kohlberger at all.
And that's it right there. Bingo. And
it's the process that's the problem here.
The point with this article, guys, is that this happens way more than it doesn't. Okay. People plead to, and Bill Thompson's very well known for it. I didn't think it was going to happen with this one, but he does it all the time. People plead because of fear, coercement, inducement of coercion, any of that kind of stuff, guys. And I feel like this entire case is based off of that. I feel like they shoved this down his throat. They cornered him. Whatever the reason is, we don't know yet. Okay, maybe we will, maybe we won't. That's what I'm saying is I don't believe that Brian is guilty, but I have to accept that he is because he told me he was, and I'm there at that. I get that. My biggest issue is how we got to that point. That's what my issue is. How did we get to that point?
He's innocent. There's something going on. He's innocent. That's me. I'm done.
And that's fine. I respect that, Randy. I do. I truly respect that. There's a lot of corruption based on the state side of this. It's been shown to us. Okay. There's definitely it is called prosecutorial misconduct that could lead to judicial misconduct if it's found out to be that it was handed over and that Hitler didn't, investigate it the way he should have. But the fact that this is what bothers me, they came out. Hitler said, "I'm just as surprised as you. I found out Monday." I don't know if I wholeheartedly believe that, but okay, I'll take it. They refused the pre-sentencing hearing. That was tossed. There's no appeal. He waived his right to appeal. He closed every door he had. Every door he had, he closed it and said yes to every question, okay? That makes no sense to nobody that has been following this. We all get that. I still feel, though, that whether it's the defense or there's something else that's going on, there's a reason why he did it that way. I've been looking day after day after day after day into every article I can find about this kind of thing, and I cannot find, other than those little things I just read to you, what it possibly could be besides that there needs to be time for them to bring forth and put out on the table all of the prosecutorial misconduct that's there, okay, and lay it out. Spread it out like a nice thin butter and show the whole world what the state did here. Now, I'm sure it could have been done a different way. I still don't understand why they would have done it this way, but if that is possible, and they can prove all of that shit, this can be voided. He has that appeal there. And it would be tossed. It would be flipped upside down, you guys. And that's my only, I know it's a reach, but that's what I'm reaching for right now. And I believe it could be going on. When and how, I don't know. There's nothing showing that yet. So it's just an alleged thought. There's no facts or anything to prove it, as Sarge would say, as of yet.
There are facts to.
Oh yeah,
there are facts that can actually, when put together, that become circumstantial, but based on factual, provable acts.
Right.
For instance, their case on the car is circumstantial with no fact to make that car Brian's.
Right.
So that isn't even really circumstantial evidence. It's a conspiracy theory.
Mm-hmm.
But there are facts that, when assembled in the correct order, you can assemble, and you can look and ask yourself if this kid was pressured or what did Idaho put him in a position that he felt he had no choice, which is coercion. And there's many instances in this legal outline of what we've been through to say that. But it still doesn't mean he didn't do it.
Right.
And that's so hard for people to get their head to wrap around. It doesn't mean that he did do it. And the point is, if you pay attention to the judicial proceedings where it took 6 months for a preliminary hearing, and before they could even get to the preliminary hearing because of the 6-month delay, they indicted the guy. Keep adding to that, and you'll find that this particular the prosecution's behavior They're withholding of evidence. They're delays. This wasn't the defense delaying it, but the preliminary hearing should have happened within 14 days, not 6 months later.
Right.
Okay. I'm saying that when you look at this case for the facts that are available, there is no conspiracy theory in facts. There is no, it's circumstantial in that this fact says this. And I'm sure that together we can assemble enough facts to show that there was a coercion effectively applied to Brian Kohlberger.
Absolutely.
But I'm not going to say that he didn't do it or did do it. And I don't think anybody should argue for his innocence or guilt. But the system is so broken that for that prosecutor to say openly, we don't have evidence placing him at that home, that's just mind-boggling.
Fuck. 4 people dead in what? 8 minutes?
I can't hear you.
You sound really far away, Randy.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. No problem.
There you are. You're the man.
4 minutes or 8 minutes, what? To kill 4 people? No. Brian Kohlberger can't do it.
I think you're wrong. It wasn't 8 minutes. Listen, it was 3 minutes. It was 3 minutes, Randy.
Oh, well, he's good, Sergeant. Come on. 3 minutes? No way.
3 minutes is when the dog started barking at 4:17 a.m. and they argue that the car drove away at 4:20 a.m. In fact, that means that the car couldn't have been part of the crime. That crime continued from 4:17 for 30 continuous minutes under the barking of Murphy, moans, thuds, whimpers, being captured on a camera 50 feet from the home. Listen,
all right.
We all know the case in and out. Is you could have. I always said the kid could have won at trial. I'm very confident at a trial he would have won.
No, Sarge, you're admitting that you think he did it. So that's cool. That's cool. But everything you're talking about tonight, you've admitted that you think he did it. So that's good. That's good. So maybe move on to some of us who don't believe that he didn't do it. You know, maybe you should move on, Sarge. I'm sorry. But
maybe you should evaluate your belief versus what facts are telling you. The kid admitted to it. You have to accept that. You refuse to accept that, and that you're not going to try to shame me or take me away.
3,000 plus people admitted that they committed a crime that they didn't do for one reason or another. You know, no, the way he acted, the way he just went through it, there's something going on. You think he did it. End of story. I think you should move on. Go back to your channel and move on with what you're doing, Sarge. But you're wrong. You are totally wrong.
That's an opinion. Randy. That's an opinion, though, Randy. Everybody,
go back to your religious belief of information and go worship some other case.
I mean, everybody has opinions, and it's all based. Both of your beliefs are based on an opinion that is.
I'm just taking Brian Kohlberger. Wait, I'm taking Brian Kohlberger at his word.
Well, and I mean, this is based on what he said. Yes.
I'm sorry. That's a piece of evidence that nobody can overcome except Brian.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right, Sarge. Take him at his word because he said it. You're right.
Well, look what Jesse Schul just said. Even Jesse Schul that argues his innocence. Look what Jesse Schul just said in the chat room, Randy. You're 3,000 people that think like you. You could have 100,000, 1 million, 5.6 billion people could think like you. And I really don't care. I'm telling you, facts matter more than what anybody believes, even me. I don't believe the kid did anything. He told me he did, so I accept it.
Where's Jesse's comment? I don't see it.
Yeah, he's in there. He said he broke Andy Girl above Alicia.
I'm looking.
That's tough to deal with, Sarge, man. I don't know.
Pled guilty. Here's the thing. Here's the thing.
I know he admitted it. But I just feel there's a plan. I just feel there's a plan.
Let me ask you this: if he did it, and all of the nonsense we've seen the government do to entrap this guy, trick this guy, force this guy to admit it, right? Let's say he did do it. Does that behavior still acceptable to you? That the government did that to this? Okay. So here's what I'm trying to say: is there is common ground here, Randy?
Right.
And the common ground is that's why I never argue or try to understand innocent or guilt of the accused and only want to look at the process. The process is what has us together here right now. And the process is a crazy mess in this case.
Yeah.
Right?
Agreed. Okay.
So I don't believe I accept the information that's verifiable and move on. If and when it's contradicted, I will change my view.
And that's
not
the
belief,
point.
but my
That's
view.
I know what you're saying, Randy, and I respect that. And I know what Sarge is saying, and Jesse said it too. He doesn't believe he did it, not by himself. But it doesn't matter what you or I or anybody thinks, because he pled and he said it out of his own mouth.
Right.
That's where I'm at with it too. I don't truly believe he did it, especially not by himself. But I'm accepting what he said because he said it. That's his. I can't deny that. You know what I mean?
There is a reason he said it. There's only two different things.
There could be. He
did it or he didn't do it.
Right. Right.
And we're all still like, what the fuck is going on? You know what I mean?
And that's why
everybody's like that. That's why we are sitting here arguing or discussing, because it's
that's why everybody is allowing this to be led with their emotions, Randy. That's 100% what it is. Everybody is letting their emotions lead their feelings on this, me included. Okay, because I don't believe he did it in my stomach.
Well, you don't want to believe it, right?
That's right. I don't want to believe it because it doesn't make sense, but I have to. That's my. That's
the house. Hey,
can you guys hear me? Okay.
Yeah, we're good, Jesse. Thank you.
What are you still doing awake?
Well, I just wanted to chime in here because I wanted to tell you guys I don't talk about my day job that often, but you guys know that I work with some pretty high profile people, and I had a chance to talk to The Rock about this case, Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, and I asked him if he thought that Brian Kohberger was guilty, and you know what he told me? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you think. He pled guilty, so I just wanted to come on and say that.
You know, Jesse, that's
out
because it's not going to affect any of our lives, whether he is guilty or not. It's not going to affect you or me.
It does, though.
Well, it does because of the way we followed the case, right?
No, because of the process we witnessed. Like someone just said, who's that? Central Park 5 confessed they were innocent. Listen, this is the whole thing that I've been trying to get people to realize is that it's the system that needs to be focused upon, not the accused.
Right.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%, Sarge.
All right. And 100%. The system in this case, whether he did it or not, the system is fucked up from the floor up, and it was from the day they wrote the first arrest warrant, the affidavit, right?
Yeah,
and we all know that.
Yeah, you're right. Oh my God, you're right. Totally.
And that's what true crime should be focusing on. When you look at these kids that go missing, what is crime? What are the officers not doing? What are we noticing? Instead, we focus on whether the parents did it or not. But what isn't being done by law enforcement? What could be done? What suggestions can we make? How can we get involved?
That's where the real crime is. Yes, that's where the real crime is.
We are the government. We are the law officers. We are the jury. But we shouldn't be being the jury online. We should be being the examiners of the evidence and information collected by our government and shared with us. And if it doesn't pass the smell test, we need to start shooting letters off to these people, to the media, off to Bill Thompson. What kind of a PCA is that? It's all my opinion. The kid turned his phone off. There's no evidence in there to put him at that home. And now 2.5 years later, Bill Thompson admits it.
Yeah.
So for 2.5 years, that piece of shit's been leading everybody by their nose and burying Kohberger under a mountain of cell bars and jails and concrete. And what did we do?
But he admitted it. How does that make sense? It does not make sense.
No, it doesn't. But it doesn't have to. We don't matter. You know that. It doesn't matter what we think.
Well, we don't matter. Yeah.
But
maybe we shouldn't allow plea deals in capital cases at all. Thank you, Yvonne. And why as a society aren't we pushing for that?
At this point, there shouldn't be. For things like that specifically, amen. Yeah, there should not be plea deals allowed in any capital case, folks, because there is no justice in that aspect.
See, where a lot of people might see a division with me, I don't think you're really looking for the middle ground where we all.
I know what you're saying. I know
you.
what you're saying, but
I got you, Sarge. No problem.
Real quick before I forget, Jesse wanted me to play this for you, Sarge.
What?
Uh-oh. Who's that? Is that Jesse?
Yeah, and we're working on getting one done for you too. I don't know if you've seen mine.
No,
but
that's you, Sarge, when you were young.
That ain't me. I didn't have brown hair. I had blonde hair.
This is absolutely Jesse. Hang on.
I was a towhead.
I would like you to explain what exactly they thought happened.
Jesse.
They have a situation. They need help. So where do they think Kaylee, Maddie, and Ethan are?
No, I will give you this. If they feel guilty for their way or feel guilt for not, if they feel not handling the situation better, not thinking like, oh, well, I did run past Zan. I saw her.
That's your buddy.
That's
Jeff.
At the time, I'm drunk. I'm messed up, and I'm a little scared and freaked out. I got to find answers about this weird guy that walked past me with bushy eyebrows. I think Ethan's probably got, Xana, so I don't need to worry as much about that. But it looks like she's drunk and passed.
Turn this up. Come on.
The thing is, I don't believe.
I believe that's literally what Steve G is saying. Is that
right?
She saw that, and she's not.
I have it turned up as loud as I can get it.
Doesn't want it to be.
That's cool.
I believe that is the official story from the father of Bailey.
Yeah.
Well, I think in listening to the 911 call again, I've almost got a new version of it because Dago, you were right. I did mess it up with too much noise reduction.
Well, I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it disrespectfully.
I know you.
That was me.
But at first, I took it as like, oh, well, thanks a lot. And I agree. Outcast has done some nice stuff, but it's better that I learned from it and then I did check it out.
Freaking AI. Come on.
The stuff that we want to keep.
It sounds real arrogant, Jeff, but I've watched myself on this panel many a times, gone back a year, 2 years, and I can't find too many flaws in my logic because I haven't gone out on a limb and said anything that I didn't have a good reason for saying. And looking back at a lot of
Jesse do this one
speculation we've done, it was mostly
I think Outcast did this.
And this
Outcast did this.
We pretty much nailed it from the beginning on this channel. We were talking about, we were
But
speculating.
is that supposed to be Jesse right there?
Before the
it is Jesse, yes.
Nope, it was
funny.
Text messages were happening. The roommates were alerting their friends. They weren't.
Well, most situations, there's a lot that.
Before I finish,
This is Kara Willis, real quick, by the way.
Yeah. Oh God.
I haven't seen your favorite YouTube creators as babies. You are missing out.
I love Kara.
So go over.
This one actually looks like her.
And
it does.
Outcast with a K, and show him some love. And he works with some.
The accent. That's great.
That support his channel and make the babies. So I
You'd kill me.
To Outcast in the description of this video, guys. And it's not meant to be serious, and it's not meant to make fun of people. It's just light-hearted entertainment, right? And
I want somebody to do Sarge really bad.
So bad. Oh, I'll do Sarge.
Not wait.
I got the stuff. I
There you
will
go.
do so.
Yeah, see, I showed it. I just think these are hilarious. It lightens it up a lot.
That was hilarious. Thank you, Dago.
Yes, Willie has one. I have one. Outcast has one. They made Paparazzi one. Vivian. Oh my God, Vivian's is absolutely hilarious. So anyway, but
Oh, Paparazzi's back. Everybody knows he's okay now, right?
Yeah.
Look at all the conspiracies that came up. It's just so strange, man.
Yeah, it's insane. He left for a couple days because he hurt his neck. And he had to come back out here and make a video and say, I'm fine. I'm here. I'm alive. People were putting rest in peace, Pav, and blah, blah, blah. It's absolutely it's
Wasn't
ridiculous.
there a video of like people getting shot and they thought one of them was Paparazzi?
It's insane. That's what a lot of these people do out here. I was gone for a week and people said I wasn't coming back. I got that email. We thought you weren't coming back. You weren't coming back. You were over it. What?
I thought that too. I'll be honest with you. I thought that too. I knew you were gone for a week. I'm like, well, maybe he's on vacation or something, but I was a little concerned.
I appreciate it. I was just having some technical issues and I'm here and like these people go nuts over this shit. It's crazy. Hold on. I think I have Viv's here. 1 second. Heather sent it to me. That one's probably the funniest one of them all.
That was.
What do? You take a clip of someone's stream and you just
I think that's how they do it. I've never
feed it into a bunch of pick a baby and feed it into them.
Basically, yeah. Whole AI thing. Hold on.
That's
Heather.
all AI.
Yeah, this is the one. Hold on 1 second, guys. I'll show you. These are just too great for me, though. I love it.
You can do another one.
The official story from your father to get.
Oh, here's a clip of hers.
I think,
if you don't know who Viv FFS, this is insane. And I know she's probably pissed about this too, but I mean, it's just funny. Sorry. He'll move it over here in a minute.
About how she would call.
They had to do one at Cluminati.
She was scared, including like if a pan fell in the kitchen and she heard a noise. So instead of calling 911, she would call friends. And that's what I'm in her shoes with her life experiences.
Who's this?
Not everybody's the same. So this wasn't unusual that when she got scared that she wouldn't call 911, she would contact friends instead. Dylan not calling 911 was not unusual behavior for her. Their friends talked about how she would call them a lot when she was scared, including like if a pan fell in the kitchen and she heard a noise. So instead of calling 911, she would call friends. And that's what I've been saying. Put yourself in her shoes with her life experiences, because not everybody's the same. So this wasn't unusual that when she got scared that she wouldn't call 911, she would contact friends instead. Dylan not calling 911.
I didn't want
I don't know who that's supposed to be. Who is that supposed to be, Dago?
There's a creator by the name of Viviana or Viv FFS, for fuck's sake, I think it is. I don't watch them often, but that's Jesus Christ. You got to see her, Sarge.
I think, listen, I think it would be highly interesting to take all the irregularities in this case and get them all down on paper.
Of course. Yes.
And in that way, and that's why, see, people get so passionate about guilt or innocence. And that's one of the ways they do this with so many different things in our lives that we get into the debate about. Look, there's no argument the earth is warming, but the debate over as to why shouldn't even be an issue. There should be no debate there. It just is. It is what it is. And it's going to continue to do that. And one day it's going to freeze into an ice cube. It's an argument not worth even getting involved in. But they divide us with these arguments.
Of course. That's
and
what
somehow
happened.
we've been trained to divide amongst ourselves. Right? We divide amongst ourselves. And all I've been trying to show people is that the process itself is what we as the citizens of the United States need to hyper-focus on. Look at the Gilgo case, 10 years of police corruption that didn't have anything to do with the murder itself, just out and out police corruption and kickbacks and protecting drug dealers and lying under oath on cases unrelated to the serial killer. Kept that guy out there for 10 more years. Look at the Karen Reed case and all the chaos those policemen did in that case and the prosecution. And then the state picks it up as a special man. Those are our biggest problem. If those people did their job, there may not ever have been a Brian Kohlberger case.
Right.
And I agree. We get into the battle of who did it and he didn't do it, and this guy did it, and that guy did it, the grub truck guy did it, this guy did it. Oh, look what she said to Andy, and oh my God. What about what the police and the people right under our nose are doing? Their shit's documented. I don't know what she said to Andy or Randy or whoever the hell she was on the. I don't know. Nobody knows. I don't want to talk about it.
They use my name.
Why is it that that's okay?
No. Who was it that she said something to somebody? I'm talking about the young girl that ended up being killed in the Idaho 4. She talked to somebody, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
I'm not using your name specifically to use your name. I'm trying to remember who she said I told him everything.
I know who you're talking about.
Who was the guy she was talking to or mentioned?
Oh, they were talking to Jack Showalter. They were walking, and
and who did she say she said it to?
Kaylee turned around and said, "Maddie, what did you say to Adam?" And she
Adam.
said, I told him
Yeah,
everything.
I'm sorry.
Right.
I just got that name wrong there, Randy. I wasn't using your name or anything specifically.
No, it's all good.
But in other words, people want to analyze that, but the bottom line is the analyzation should have been more focused on what the police and the prosecution were doing. And even though that did come up in our discussions, there was never really any focus on what these people did. Now it seems like every bit of focus is based on corruption and conspiracy theory, and that was there for us to see the whole time.
Right.
And yet you got creators giving you pixelated videos, altered audio, pixelated shadows and reflections and all of that crazy shit.
Do all that. The reflections and the little lane, that's bullshit. All that's bullshit.
But
we learn nothing from that. I'm sorry. I learned nothing from that, and I'm not a stupid guy. But I learned nothing from any of those videos, reflections, or Little Lane. Nothing.
Listen, I can't explain Brian's current actions. I take him at face value. However, the actions that put him in that position that we've witnessed, I've been pointing and beating and slapping around for the last 32 months like everyone else that's actually paid attention to the facts.
Right.
And I can understand people having the opinion he didn't do it. Or the people that say he did do it. Either way, I really don't care. What I really care about is what Bill Thompson did, the games he played, how they misrepresented to the court a probable cause affidavit, how there were lies and misstatements in there.
Exactly.
Right? How only after the FBI told him he didn't have a front license plate did they include that in the PCA. Not because they saw it on a camera, but because they found out by looking up records. Or they were told all of these little bullshit, that's not a conspiracy. Those things really fucking happened in this case. And whether he did it or not, it's not even, first we need to see if the collection of their information even reaches the level of what you can do to a fellow American. And we can all agree it doesn't, but they did it anyway. And we didn't do anything or say anything about it.
How many laws, Sarge, alone were broken during this investigation to get to him alone? That's the biggest issue with this. So,
and look at I don't say that he didn't. I don't take a position on innocent or guilt just to be obstinate. I try to get to say that maybe people will realize that when you look at the facts that we've been given from this case, it all boiled down to Brian's final appearance in court where Bill Thompson told us they couldn't place him in that house.
Right.
That tells you that everything else that they were telling us was a lie, was a conspiracy theory, was an unprovable argument. But they used that to lock this kid up for 32 months.
They had no case whatsoever as he presented at the end of that. He even said, we realize, he had the balls to say this, we do realize that Brian did not go there with the intent to kill all of these people. What are you talking about? Why did you charge him for it then, Bill? Okay, that's the bullshit. Have a good night, Tandy. Thank you for joining us, hon.
No, William, we don't have an answer to that. You could have had a vanity plate. I got them on my car, both front and back.
But yeah, there's those things that's proof that the prosecution is a joke. And that's what needs to be exposed here, Randy. That's what I'm going to be talking about. That's what needs to be shown to the world, that this man may have pled guilty to a crime that he did or did not commit. But the problem is that this entire state, the whole state of Idaho played this entire game with him to get him in that position.
How did Steve Gonzalez get away with saying everything he said that ended up being a perfect lie to the public? How did he get not dragged to the canvas and sanctioned, or at least threatened with contempt?
Right.
He's coming out telling us there's lots of DNA at the crime scene. You people talking about transfer DNA don't know what you're talking about. Okay, only for us to find out every other bit of fucking DNA had nothing to do with Brian.
Right.
Yet the prosecution led the public to believe through Steve Gonzalez's mouth that DNA was Brian's.
That's a fact.
I mean, I understand the kid may not have done this, and he may have felt overwhelmed, and just something happened. When Hitler said he can't offer an alternative suspect defense, he might have just said, you know what, fuck it, they're going to get me anyway. I agree with you, Randy. That could be where we're at with this guy.
It could be.
But we can't certify that with any factual data. But can we show that the potentiality for that scenario to have played out be exactly what happened? And I think the evidence is there to make an argument that whether he committed the crime or not, they actually manipulated and forced this kid to come forward and take a plea deal.
Agreed.
And I don't know if he did it or not, and I don't really want to fucking know, be honest with you. I just would like to see these legal officials be held to account and be told you can't do this to people.
Right.
Guilty or not. Yeah.
Take them to trial, dude. Show us your hand. You should not have allowed them to take a plea deal. They themselves shouldn't be. The judge should have refused to accept a plea deal.
I would hope that he would, and I also.
It's not still possible. It's still possible. Hitler.
If he were to rescind his plea, yes, 100%. That's true. I also think Sarge and Randy both, and I was going to say this the other day and I forgot. I think they should have been forced. I know you can't, but I know this is like a whole different world thinking this, but that other DNA that was never tested, never done, I think they should be forced to do that. That should be a mandatory thing in an investigation, that you should have to follow a law and do that, period.
Why?
How about that? I'll only accept the plea deal if you could tell me where the weapon is that you used to kill these 4 individuals.
That as well.
Where is it? What'd you do with it?
He should have to tell something that he would only know as the killer.
Tell me something about the interior of that house and that crime scene that only the criminal could know.
Right.
But they leak certain things. Like Brian could have said, I sat down in a chair. But they leaked that to the public.
Right.
Good.
Blood on a chair. Yeah. They leaked things about the way Ethan was carved up.
Yeah.
And see, all of that information would have been known to the killer. Right. And so once they link it to the public and say Brian did it all, there's very little Brian is going to be able to. So, and the argument that he didn't do it, they gave us so much leaked data that should never have been leaked. That in itself is coercion. That's complete coercion what they did to this guy in the media, what Gonzalez did. You know, and that's when Dago read that document, he should post a link to that. There is the argument that Koberger was coerced.
I'm going to put it in my in the description. 100%.
That argument can be made.
I absolutely, whether he stated that he did or or that he was or he wasn't, I truly feel that he was. I feel he was cornered. And nobody knows why, you guys, but it was so fast. Everything was accepted so fast. This sentencing hearing was like boom, boom, boom. Let's do it the 23rd right now. Okay. Right. They all agreed to it. That was way too quick, in my opinion. Sorry, guys. And there's something behind it that I believe, whether there was some kind of a threat, whether there was some form of coercion, but I feel like there was. Okay.
Well, not only that, let me just say that if Judge Hitler didn't know that Bill Thompson's case could not place Brian in that home, if Hitler didn't know that, then he is an inefficient. He should not have been the justice in this case, because in all fairness, his job is to protect people from government overreach. That's what a judge's primary job is.
Yep.
You're right.
And for Bill Thompson to make that argument, to make that fucking statement is insane to me. So in other words, you didn't have any evidence placing him in the home at all. And you're trying to tell us that you do. For 32 months. You went out and you leaked to the media. You let Steve run around with this fake information and spread all these horror stories about this kid. Right. And you didn't have any evidence to put him at the house. That case should be dismissed, even if he committed the crime.
Yeah, because if you take that away, take everything away that they have presented, okay? And what they should have stood up and Hitler should have said, I know this is not how this goes, but I'm just telling you, and said, okay, I want the prosecution to now show me how you know that Brian committed this crime. And he would have done what he did, which is read the fucking PCA, which means nothing. There's nothing that proves that Brian went into that house and committed those crimes. The judge should have said, that doesn't tell me anything. End of story. Case dismissed. That's my thought on this. I know it don't
happen.
Not even case dismissed. He should have said the state you chose to prosecute, because it's at the prosecutor's discretion.
Right.
He should have said there's no plea deal. I'm not going to authorize a plea deal in this case. You got to take the evidence you got and convict this guy.
He didn't even think about it, Sarge. That's what bothers me. He just moved right on with it. And that's another problem for me. Like, it's almost like it was all scripted, the entire hearing. Okay. That's so weird to me. He didn't even think. Everything else that they talked to him about, I'll take it under advisement. No thought.
No, it's like Hitler wants to just get it over with. He wants to get over whether he wants to retire.
They
That's
all
it.
do, Randy. And if you haven't noticed, thank you, Leah. I appreciate that, dear, and welcome. If you didn't notice, when Hitler told Thompson to bring in that special prosecutor, okay, for the leaker and all that other bullshit, bring in that. They brought this prosecutor in. Nobody knows who it is, but it's amazing that.
Or if it even happened.
Right. Well, I kind of feel like it seems like the timeline from that point to this point, everything changed as soon as that happened.
They not only poisoned the potential jury pool, but they put the accused in an unwinnable situation.
Yep.
Again, I'm going to qualify this. Doesn't mean Brian's innocent. Doesn't mean he's guilty. But in the circumstances of the evidence provided to us, the public, there's a great argument that this kid was coerced to take that plea based on the behavior of the state of Idaho.
And did you guys hear during that hearing we were watching where they said we're going to go ahead and release the 4 jurors? Did they already have like 4 people that they were looking at as jurors?
I missed that.
I heard him state that, and I went, wait a minute, what? Because I didn't think they were doing jury pool at that yet.
No, that's not supposed to happen yet.
Either I misheard it, or I don't even know what the hell that meant, but I did hear something like that. But anyway, moving, not to get off subject, I just wanted to say, did anybody else hear that? And I'll go find the damn hearing where it said it, but at the very end where Bill said, yeah, we'll release the 4 jurors, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, wait, what?
Right.
Ooh, gotta find that. Yeah.
That was strange to me, but whatever.
Everything that happened in that hearing was strange. And the whole look, we all know that it was a rush to close this case. That's why one of the reasons Steve is mad.
Yes.
But to me, his real argument is he doesn't get a dead body.
Uh-huh.
That's the real peeve is that he doesn't get to see someone killed because his dog was killed. And my question to Steve is, why aren't you arguing for your brother to be killed? Didn't his brother murder somebody?
Yeah, he's not complaining.
Why isn't he arguing for the death penalty for his own brother?
Right.
Murder
is murder. That's a fact.
Murder is murder.
And he's not saying his brother's in a daycare.
They were talking about witnesses. Jessica's right. It wasn't jurors. It was witnesses.
Witnesses. Okay. My apologies. Yeah. I may have heard it different. Like I said, I just heard what I thought. And I was
I don't remember him saying anything about jurors, but I do know the witnesses. Yeah.
The people in Pennsylvania. Thank you, Alicia. And that was just everything was going fine. Okay. And then boom.
But everything that was leaked was everything that would destroy Brian Kohlberger. And honestly, I think the final rulings that the court made were she had to acquiesce to the FBI being a tip and not even mention them when the FBI were the integral investigative force in this. I have a real problem with, even if the kid fucking did it, I still don't care. What the way they did what they did to get to where we are today was criminal in and of itself. It's been like that through the whole process.
I agree. Totally agree. Oh my God.
Can we fix that? Can we work together to fix that? Can we work together to make a voice to say this stuff just shouldn't be allowed? This is insane.
Yeah, right. It's crazy. People should be looking at it that way. You're right, Sergeant.
I mean, that's what I mean. It isn't for us to determine as innocent or guilt as much as it is to determine if the evidence goes to reasonable doubt, if it was collected appropriately, and if the process is used to make these accusations and put this guy in a cage are sufficient in the United States of America. And if they're not, even if the jerk off did the crime, that's not what we're supposed to be concerned with. Our people that represent us should do their job according to the rules. And if they say you can't go in a database, the government shouldn't be allowed to hire a third-party contractor to do it for them.
Right. Totally agreed.
Right?
Totally agreed. Hi, Lucy.
Yeah, I think there's a lot that we all could agree on. What can we do with it, though? That's really the important thing. For all the folks, we all watch true crime. There's millions of man-hours invested in this case. Millions.
Big time.
What can we pull out of it? What can we salvage from it all? We may not be able to free Brian Kohlberger, but we may be able to make an attention to the public that your FBI is violating their constitutional limit. They're kicking down doors at random using third-party contractors.
Right.
Even local police.
Yeah.
Come on. I'm sorry.
I agree.
These people screw you over, man. They're like
what they did to Karen Reed. You know, but I think the two cases that really exemplify the point that I'm trying to make is when you look at the Kansas City 3 and Donna Eyes. where we all start getting into the argument of who did it and where they were and this, and instead of paying attention to the process. And that's what's happened in this case. It's happened in even the Karen Reed case went through that big nightmare. Who did it? Who didn't do it? And of course, in that case, I think it was most appropriate because backing into somebody's arm is highly unlikely that you're going to take their life by hitting their arm. That to me is almost like I'm laughing. It's almost a joke. You backed into my outstretched arm, and the result was I died. Okay. You didn't break my arm. You didn't bruise my arm.
Right,
You backed into it at 24 miles an hour with a 6,000-pound truck, and you didn't break a single bone, but I died. Okay.
Okay.
I mean, how could you not question the analysis of those police?
Agreed. Very much so.
And we should all be scared. Now we know for sure what the FBI did with Othram Lab, and we as a group of people should not tolerate that. Our voice should be loud. No backdoor in any investigation with third-party
how do we
people.
how do we do that? How do we do that? You know? Yeah, I totally agree. The whole thing with Othram Labs and that's all bullshit. But how can you complain about that? What are you supposed to do? Get on their website? Go?
No, I think what we should do is start pointing out cases and incidences in these cases that show that our law enforcement agencies are working to undermine our freedom.
Yeah.
Our freedom isn't for sale to catch a criminal. It just isn't. We don't want criminals, but my freedom shouldn't be surrendered. You shouldn't be able to sneak into places you're not allowed to go in.
Right.
Agreed.
Right? You shouldn't be able to make up stories of a guy that's never been a criminal, really. What he stole his sister's cell phone is the most we've ever heard about him.
Right.
He was 16 years old. He was 16, Sarge. That's it.
And yet you're going to tell me that criminals turn off their phone to mask their location. Well, you can't really call Brian Koberger a criminal. That phrase, it fits me. I'm a fucking past criminal. That statement in a probable cause affidavit is good for me, not Brian Koberger.
Right.
Not Randy, not Dago. Maybe not you in the audience because you didn't commit any crimes. But if you're going to make the assumption I turned off my phone to mask my location, that's a fair statement to place in there because I am a criminal. Even if it was 30 years ago.
Right.
But it doesn't apply to an everyday citizen, that statement.
I turn my
Fizzy's
phone off every day. Every day, my phone is on Do Not Disturb because I get so many phone calls from people I don't care about. There's this thing that keeps coming up on my phone that I have no idea what it is. It's always like 7:37, exact same time in the morning. You know, I just screw these cell phones, man. They're screwing us up. You know, and does that have anything to do with this case?
But they're not screwing us up. The people that are supposed to be responsible for our safety and security are the ones that are screwing it up.
They're not protecting us like they should.
We live in an amazing time. We live and we don't even realize what kind of an amazing era we live in because we're all trying to protect ourselves from the boogeyman.
Agreed.
You're right.
That statement that Fizzy just made there, she's right. They do this all the time, and it's enough. It's bullshit that they can say this. They'll just say that they bent the rules a little to catch the bad guy. In the end, that's the most important thing. And I hear them say this all the time. And that's bullshit. That's not how that works. That is not how that works. There's nothing in the Constitution that says, okay, number 47, you can bend the rules if it means you're going to catch the bad guy. No, it don't work that way.
In my stream the other day, I made the point that for a policeman to put his knee on the back of a man's neck and the man ends up dying.
Yep.
Okay. All the extenuating circumstances that people wrap their arms around. He's a drug addict. He was on fentanyl. Okay. But that doesn't justify holding a man down by the back of his neck with your knee for 10 minutes in any situation to any human being.
Nope.
Our policemen shouldn't be doing that.
No.
Right. They shouldn't be going 60 and a 30. They should be the epitome of living a clean, lawful life. Look at me. I got great family, great kids, great wife. They should be the example, not the exception to the law.
That's 100%. Listen, guys, by law, an emergency services vehicle, police, ambulance, fire truck, whatever, Sorry.
Or Dago,
15 miles over the speed limit here in the state of Ohio. And I promise you, me included, as a first responder, never stuck to that. And there was a guy killed a woman killed in New York City because there was a police officer responding to a medical call because he was also an EMT in the police car. He was going 75 miles an hour through a city. Okay.
Yep.
He hit this woman that was crossing the street and she was launched 75 yards down in front of the car. There's that. Okay. So then another officer responds to the call.
They tried to cover it up.
They tried to cover it up. The union got on them, and the guy said, the one officer, it was recorded on his body cam, said, well, they'll just send her a check for a couple $100,000 and she'll be all right. It's no big loss. What the fuck? Are you serious? This is what I'm talking about. This is the world that we live in, the society that we live in, that these people do these kinds of things, and it's okay. And it's enough. It's enough.
There's a woman policeman in one city that her gun discharged.
Yeah.
And it went through a building and killed some woman. That's unintentional homicide. She should be incarcerated for that.
By mistake?
Yeah, her gun was drawn and she fired. She was chasing a suspect, but she didn't mean to fire, but her gun fired and it went through an apartment wall and killed some innocent bystander. That police officer needs to be incarcerated.
Because they need to follow the law, in my opinion, Sarge and Randy both. Like Lucy said, he said that girl, she was 26 and had little value. They'll get over it. That's what I'm saying. Okay.
What?
There is absolutely no reason why this should be okay. I think law enforcement officials, judges, attorneys, anybody that's involved in the judicial system or the law enforcement system should have to follow the law above what we should have to as citizens. Okay.
No, I think following the law equal because they're a citizen too. I don't want them to have to do anything different than me. But if it says 35, God damn it, you go 35.
Or you get a ticket for it, right?
Right.
But they don't. They turn their lights on to go to lunch.
They should be proud of themselves and they should be standing up and going into our schools. Right? They should be protecting our campuses like Idaho from criminal activity and drug transportation and sex trafficking. They should be the epitome of what living a good life is.
Agreed. They're supposed to be examples to the rest of us.
And they're not. And we don't do anything as the public to try to hold them to that account. We simply have been trained to argue what we believe rather than what's actually factually important.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And that's really been my argument since you ever know me, Dago, is that we are capable, even if we disagree on a thought, there's still so much common ground to fill the void that there will be no void.
Agreed.
Right?
Definitely.
Sergeant.
Randy.
Where's the bodies?
Where's
the pictures of the bodies leaving the house?
That's wild.
Where's what?
Where's the pictures of anybody of the bodies leaving the house?
Oh, I
thought I'd get back on the topic.
I don't know.
That's always been one of my biggest problems. I can't believe that nobody had filmed bodies coming out of the house.
Well, I'll tell you right now, Randy.
Didn't they do it under the cover of a tarp?
They did it at night. They covered it over with a tarp and backed the vehicle up to the door. I've been on
You saw that video, right? Are you telling me you saw that video and you believe it?
What video?
That they put a tarp up and
I'm going to tell you the only reason why I believe it, because I've been on scenes myself where we've done removals like that, because they don't want the news crews filming that kind of shit for the, disrespect the family and stuff like that. So they try to hide that.
But still, with all those new crews out there that were going on, you trying to tell me that nobody got any video of the bodies being out of the house?
What's more important, I think, in that, Randy, is that you have a criminal or you have an accused in jail because of the most microscopic particle of DNA that human beings are capable of recovering. Let's be clear, right?
Right, Sergeant.
And yet they entered that home wearing windbreakers and jeans, not hazmat suits, So if they would go to Intel and try to enter one of their clean rooms where they make microprocessors, security would beat them back with batons to keep them out of that. In other words, how can you collect the most microscopic piece of evidence available to humankind in genes? How can you enter a crime scene under which you expect that you may possibly find that kind of evidence without people in proper hazmat suits and the actual crime scene itself secured, and nobody could enter it except.
And you saw that, right?
Yeah,
Sergeant Friday, you saw that.
And yet I gotta now trust your analysis of that. I have to trust your analysis of a piece of evidence that's just unimaginably small. I have to trust that this transfer DNA is valid and it can't be disputed under a crime scene that was treated like that. That's not acceptable. Whether it was his DNA or not isn't even relevant. The fact of how you collected it, and by not following rules that should be followed, shouldn't be allowed in our police enforcement.
Right. And they didn't do that. They didn't do that. They didn't do it right.
And how can Ann Taylor make that argument when the IGG is not going to be allowed in court, and that Brian Koberger's name was delivered by a tip? And that's all the jury would ever know, a tip. She should never have acquiesced to that.
Well, even those, Sarge, even that, with that, the judge, there's judicial misconduct right there, said to both sides, I need you guys to get together and come up with a story to give to the jury about the tip. What the fuck was that?
I know.
If that's not misconduct, you're telling the prosecution and the defense to lie to the jury. That right there in itself, in my opinion, was enough.
How about this? None of your alternative suspects had a white car. Well, listen, you bald-headed little fuck. Maybe they walked.
That car should have nothing to do with that. He should have never said that.
Not to the alternative suspect. That's the argument against Brian, that even they've admitted now they can't place him at the house.
That's right. That's right. And
that means the car is not relevant. If the judge knew that the prosecution's case couldn't place Brian there and that it was all circumstantial, then he had no business considering that car part of the crime.
That was not his right to say that as a judge at all. That's another thing he did wrong. Yeah. Plenty of shit in this case. He called Cyree a conspiracy theorist. That's an expert.
Oh God, that pissed me off.
I mean, everything he did.
That pissed me off.
Not to mention his attitude throughout this whole thing. The disrespectfulness towards the defense, the sighing and leaning on his hand. This was the most unprofessional judge I've ever seen in my life. I'm sorry.
Oh my God, he's a loser. Hitler's a loser.
And but just so everybody knows about the body removal, this is what I was trying to explain. They've done this on scenes I've been on. They told all the journalists, you cannot be here for this. They put the canopy up, they backed the truck up to the thing, and they kept everybody back from that and cordoned everything off, removed them, and in a respectful way, and off they went. And I said that once before. That's how they did it. So
yeah,
it's
congratulations, Dago. I don't believe it. Somebody got some video. Somebody has some.
Well, if they removed everybody and had security standing there, I don't see how. They had them all. They cordoned off the whole.
Well,
block.
no, they would record their actions in that crime scene.
They do, yes.
Yeah, but like the media probably doesn't have, unless they want to leak it. Look, man, all of these leaks were all fake news. Every single one of these leaks were lies.
Mm-hmm.
None of them were real. And yet the media was told that this shows Brian Koberger committed the crime.
Right. And then he sat down and said yes to every question he was asked, which blows my damn mind. So there you go.
Why? Why? We're all asking, why did he say that? Did it not throw you for a loop? Period. Did it not throw you guys for a loop?
Yeah, of course it did. It still does. And I am absolutely floored and throttled about it, but like I said, I have to accept what he said until there's something else that comes forward from it, and I have to. I have no choice.
And it will.
I may not believe it. Yeah, I may not believe it, and I may not be comfortable with it, but I have to accept it.
And I honestly think that prosecutorial misconduct is all over this, and that may actually exonerate Ann Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
But the misconduct by the state, misconduct was right from the jump street.
Yeah.
And then when the cop, Payne himself says, well, we got Brian Koberger's name. What about all the other samples? Well, we focused on Brian.
Bingo. And I think there's 3 judges that need to be called into question from the very beginning on this. There were 3 judges, Megan Marshall, John Judge, and Hippler. All 3 of them need to be looked at, in my opinion.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because I guarantee you they had to have known certain things. Okay. There's no
and we the people need to be fed up with this kind of shenanigans. And that's why I say when you get into the debate over innocent or guilt, it gets all the people's emotions up, and it really, our biggest issue here, to know the truth, should have been performed by those that were supposed to be in pursuit of the truth. And they weren't.
That's what I've been trying to say. Is it's not, Randy, that's the biggest thing for me, is it's not that Brian is guilty or innocent. It's never really been, even though that is important, yes, but it's about how they got him in that seat to begin with, okay? And how they got him to the point where he had to say yes to these questions.
And we shouldn't have all of this chaos and inconsistencies and deceit and these people work for us, man. They're just normal citizens like you and me that have a job that's supposed to represent the public. And yet
Ellie,
law enforcement, the prosecutors, the assistant prosecutors, the judges, the clerks, all of these people are just regular everyday citizens.
Yeah, but I think
somehow have been convinced that they're the law.
I think it comes down to the Idaho law enforcement. I think they did something scurry. And they got away with it. I don't know.
Well, they did this to another guy that they took to court for being a murderer, and he actually ended up suing him. Who was it? That chiropractor,
the doctor, yeah.
Really?
This isn't the first case of malfeasance over a murder case. No, yeah, that's true.
That's where the Brady Giglio stuff came into effect. Yeah.
The state police were involved with that in Idaho.
Yep.
And they never went on to find out who really committed the crime, which I don't know if the wife did it, but it feels like the wife was involved. I don't know.
That was Officer Tolleson with the Idaho State Police.
Here's my question. You ready? Dago?
Uh-huh.
Did he do it or not? Sergeant Friday? Did he do it or not?
I have no answer to that. I don't know other than he said he did.
I don't know. I don't feel like he did, but he said he did.
But what I'm trying to say is all these other issues in this case, Randy, that's really not what we should worry about. As true crime people, our job should be our focus and what we should want to restore justice to law. There is no justice. It's a numbers game. Look, I convicted 88 people when I was your district attorney. You need to vote for me for governor. Fuck you, dude. Fuck you. I want to see the 88 cases and how you make sure you follow the laws. You didn't violate the constitutional guardrail, that you didn't do this. Or, in other words, we don't trust our government or our law enforcement because everything they do is untrustworthy. And we sit back and we get into the focus of, did the government railroad this guy? It certainly looks like they did. And that's what my opinion is. That's all we should focus on, whether Brian did it or not. If the kid did it, I still would want to make these arguments on what Idaho did. You can't catch the right guy by using a criminal process. That doesn't shake with me.
That's a good point.
I give up.
Right? What is it? Ben Franklin said, I'd rather see 100 guilty people go free than to see one innocent man put in jail.
Right.
That's the basis of our system. Yes, it's based on English law, but the process of a preliminary hearing is different than what old English law did. They didn't do that. And the reason for a preliminary hearing was so that the judge could make sure that the government didn't step beyond their guardrail. That Constitution isn't listing the rights that you're entitled. That Constitution is listing issues that the government shall not infringe upon. They shall not come into your home. They shall not oppose your speech or your religion. Those aren't things that you're granted. Those are limits they can't get involved in. And when they cross those limits, now you have a problem. Your government it's over. They call it government overreach. And it's all over this case with Koberger, whether he did it or not.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They need that. I don't know if you ever seen that movie or that show where those guys do those crazy things.
Jackass.
Jackass. When they had that big hand and people would come walking through the door and it was on springs and that big hand would come out and slap them.
Yeah.
All that. Yeah. Hey.
I mean, I think we should make a list of all the things that we have from the documents they released and then all the statements that were made in these courts that show they never legitimately had a case against Brian, but stuffing him in a cell for 32 months.
Yep.
Had to have impacted the guy's psyche.
What's going to happen on the 23rd? What are we going to get out of the 23rd? There's so many possibilities, or it could be just boring as hell. You know, but I mean, is Brian going to talk? Are the impact statements to me are probably going to be boring as hell. You know, but
I don't think Brian's going to say a word.
Will Brian talk? Or will something come out? 23rd.
I'll be honest with you. Truly, I don't think we're going to get anything that we want to get out of that. And Brian's not going to say a word, in my opinion.
I'm almost suspicious that, and I'm hopeful. Listen, I've always been hopeful that he would take this through the process of trial. And,
Yeah.
and you know, I've been on here with Eddie, and a lot of people disagree with me.
Mm-hmm.
I have been in the criminal justice system as a defendant.
Right.
In this case, in my opinion, in front of a jury, one of those jurors are going to follow along. And that's all he needed was one juror to hang the thing, like happened with Karen Reed.
Right.
There's so many missteps and there's so many non-conclusive. There's no fact to support their circumstantial evidence.
Jury. What do you mean by jury? There's no jury for the 23rd. That's just Hitler against,
That's not what he was. That's not what he was meaning, Randy.
No, I'm saying I wanted to see Brian take it to trial.
Sorry, Sergeant. I'm lost. Sorry.
And no, don't be sorry. You misheard me, which is fine. I wanted Brian to stick tight and take it to trial because it's my experience in the criminal justice system as a defendant that it is not impenetrable, that a non-guilty plea was possible here or a hung jury was highly possible here because none of the circumstantial evidence were based on any solid fact. You have to accept what they're telling you with no evidence for what they're telling you.
Right.
It's like me telling you I'm a multimillionaire. Well, then you need to say, produce the bank statements. You see? And when they say that's Brian's car and you say, well, produce the evidence that identifies that to Brian and only Brian, they can't do that. They would have been destroyed on the stand, the guys that are arguing that that's his car, because they couldn't make the clear argument that it was.
Right.
So that's what Bill Thompson just admitted to in court. You see what he admitted to?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
That's why I wish to God this kid wouldn't have done what he did and he taken it to trial. And to me, it doesn't matter whether he was innocent or guilty. I just wanted to see this bullshit that they pulled land on their head and crushed them all.
Because it would have came out. I think it would have came out at that point how all this went down, and it would have been questioned. It had to have been.
Right.
That's the problem. That's where we lost out on it in every aspect, in my opinion.
Yeah. And that hurts the nation. It hurts all of us. Our privacy, knowing what the FBI did here with Othram Labs.
Right.
That's terrifying.
Yeah. That's scared to get us all in trouble.
I mean, if you live in a rough neighborhood, I suggest you walk around in a hazmat suit so your transfer DNA doesn't get manipulated to make you a killer.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Right.
I mean, you're going to have a whole country walk around in hazmat suits with air tanks on their back to fit Dylan's description.
Don't touch anything, for Christ's sakes.
Oh, my God.
Who would give impact statements? You guys got any?
The families of the victims would.
Like who?
Well, moms and dads, Steve and Christy, but they said they're not.
You think Steve and Christy will actually be there?
Oh, yeah. One of them, some of them will be there. Steve may not be, but Christy will.
Maybe the daughter will be.
Yeah. Olivia, Karen Laramie and Scott, those are Maddie's parents. They'll be there. Ben Mogan will probably be there.
Maddie's parents?
Maddie's parents, yeah. I think Jeff and Jasmine Kernittle will probably be there, and
Listen,
they're yeah.
Two pieces of information came forward that actually would actually solidify reasonable doubt for this guy. One is, if you're going to say I took a plea and backed out of it, I'm going to say I took a plea and backed out of it because, first of all, I didn't know Bill Thompson saw what I've been telling the court the whole time. It wasn't me. It wasn't my car. And he admitted he couldn't place me at the house because it wasn't me. And the other one is, the car that was actually driving around the house came out in one of those streams and admitted he was driving around the house at 4 o'clock. There's the reasonable doubt about the car. It had nothing to do with the crime. It was some dude driving around picking and dropping people off, which is what we assumed for how long.
And he was actually one of the people that was initially suspected based on the 4chan stuff, David Baracoa.
Yep.
So
I think he's got a door to open if he chooses to.
Why wouldn't he bring that? Why wouldn't he bring that up in the last court hearing?
Who, Bill Thompson? Because he's an idiot. No, he literally is. He objected to a questionnaire that Andrew sent out to jurors.
He's an idiot, or Ann's the idiot?
No, he's an idiot.
No, Bill Thompson's an idiot for making that statement. He also made the statement there was no stalking in this case. The defense knows it. And then he goes into Hitler's court and says there's 23 times Brian was in that area. I don't care if Brian was in that area 2,300 times. It does. Show me the one time he was at the fucking house, Mr. Jerkoff.
Yeah, it doesn't
That's
matter.
all I care about. I don't care about the 23 trips or 2,000 trips. Show me the one that was on that night at that time that he was there. And they can't do it.
The 23 trips was works out to once a week or something like that.
Yeah, whatever he did. But my point is, it's circumstance. It's not, but it isn't a factual piece of data that puts him anywhere near the home.
It doesn't make him a murderer, period.
Right.
He was traveling from town to town to go grocery shopping, buy coffee, get a haircut, go to his doctor, so on and so forth. That's all that is, because they couldn't put him at the house.
I masturbate only when I drive. I don't give a fuck what he did on those 23 trips.
Right.
Put me at the house, bro. That's what I'd say. If I was Brian, it'd be put me at the house. I wasn't there. All they do is I masturbate. I told people I look at the stars, but it's only the little white things that are on my window.
Yeah, all it did was all it did was prove that he goes grocery shopping like everybody else. That he goes to buy coffee or to whatever. Yeah,
it's the vegan food. He got more in Moscow than he could get in Pullman.
I'm American. I drive where I want when I want.
That's right.
His own father came out in that book that everybody's looking at right now and was talking to their friend and said, you know how Brian likes to drive at night? He thinks about things. He does this. He also said that knife sheath was planted, that they didn't find that thing when they said they did in the PCA, that it was later on.
That's
so
right.
once again, and he swears up and down his son didn't do this. Okay.
Yep.
So for his father himself to know those things says a whole lot to me. And for that statement to be made, and then for Brian to say what he said, that tells you there's something that's not right. Something happened to make this happen.
Well, we know what that something is, though. That's the thing is, it's not unknown to us. We know what it is.
Right.
Right.
Absolutely. Absolute corruption.
I wouldn't want these guys looking for my lost keys. For God's sakes, they'd be kicking doors down all over the place. And houses I've never been to.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are crazy.
Well, I just realized, guys, it's 12:43.
What? Yo, what are you doing on so late? Dago, what are you doing on so late? You're never on this late tonight.
Nice try, Sarge, but guess what?
Do it, boy.
Sarge is leaving. Goodbye.
He wanted to take himself off before I did it. I'll let him have it. It is what it is.
Dago, I love you. Sorry.
It was a good conversation. Thank you for joining me, Sarge and Randy. I see some people in here that are saying they're tired, so I better let them go.
Yeah, it's getting late. Time to go to bed.
I like to do sometimes I like to do the late night ones because I don't get a lot of people that can't show up during or whatever it is, don't get to make it in here. So whatever, Sarge, I'll get you. Don't worry about it. So
thank you, Dago.
Well, thanks for joining us tonight, Randy. I appreciate it. Like I said, there's a lot to this for sure.
I know. I hope I wasn't too argumentative.
No. Everybody, like I said, everybody's leading with this. They're leading in this case with their emotions, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I understand why, because I'm kind of there too myself, because nobody wants to see an innocent man go to prison. Okay.
Right.
And nobody wants to not know the truth in a case like this. Everybody deserves that truth. Okay.
Yep. Nail on the head, buddy. Nail on the head.
And that's just all there is to it. That's what everybody is up in arms about, because one, there's no truth, in my opinion, to this. Two, this once again, corruption is allowed to win this per se. They're getting away, as for right now, at least, with what they've done, and it's enough. Everybody's tired of it, Randy. Everybody's tired of it.
You're right.
And there needs to be true justice for the victims, their families, and in my opinion, at this point now, for Brian Koberger.
Right.
Okay.
You did it. You did it, or you didn't do it. End of story.
And so I'm saying there's too much, and has been reasonable doubt, for this to even be a real case, in my opinion. But hey, that's what they're saying. So, like I said, I've been saying that I feel that there's something coming down the road, and I feel that way in my gut. And if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong, and I'll say I'm wrong. That's all there is.
Yeah.
But if not, then maybe we'll see something. Who knows?
Yep. I totally agree with you. Something is going to happen. Something's coming up.
One thing I do want to know is there's a few things I'd like I definitely want the gag order lifted.
Yeah.
Like to see Brian get an actual trial, a real fair trial. I agree with that one.
Me too.
Truly. Even if he did it, I want to see the whole trial. I don't care if he did it. I want to see the trial. I want to see what happened, why, when, and who. And that's my thought. Now, I also want to see what has happened in this case from the state, the local government there, and everybody else involved, to be exposed for what it is. It's absolute corruption, and it's absolute bullshit, and it definitely deserves to be exposed.
Yep, I agree. Totally agree. God, you're so on top of it, Dago. You're on top of it.
Well, that's just my opinion on that one. So, and I do hope that something does happen. I mean, it feels like you would need a miracle at this point, but who knows, guys? I read to you the options that are available. I also read to you that this happens so many more times than people believe. This is why the Innocence Project exists. And they're constantly pulling people out of prison that have life sentences, death penalties, and setting them free because they didn't do this. Okay. So maybe
there are thousands of people who have admitted to crimes they didn't do.
Exactly.
Thousands.
And it's a regular thing.
A lot of times they get out. They get out, because they've been proven that they didn't do the crime. That's what I'm hoping happens in this case.
Well, I agree. And as you can refer back to, Alicia threw a whole bunch of cases in the chat earlier on in the stream. One of the biggest ones that I followed and covered, and I even covered it on my show, was the Central Park Five. Five kids, for anybody that doesn't know that case, that were accused, convicted, and thrown in prison for years of a murder they didn't even know, they were nowhere near it. And it was proven later that they didn't.
Yep.
And yeah, they were given money and all this other shit, but that doesn't give back their years that they lost as children in prison. Okay. The things that they went through, the molestation that happened to one or two of them, the things that all went on with this, they lost their lives. Okay. Because somebody was lazy, because a police officer pushed and pushed and pushed to get the case she wanted solved. And that's all it was. Corrupt in New York City. So, yes, there it is. Thank you, Alicia. The Central Park Five: Keith Brown, Ryan Ferguson, John Dixon, Anthony Gray. All of them falsely confessed, folks, and had nothing to do with these crimes. It happens every single damn day. In my opinion, Richard Allen, again.
Yep. Oh my God, Richard Allen for
Richard
sure.
Allen was, yeah. The only reason why he lost that case, in my opinion, is one, the judge was an asshole and completely did not allow the third party defense, and because they forced him to make coerced confessions over the phone, and that's what the jury heard.
Right.
And that's bullshit.
Speaking of asshole judges, kind of sounds like Hitler, doesn't it?
Right. Right.
Yeah, I just don't trust this guy. I don't know what's going on with Hitler. He just doesn't seem to be the right man for the job.
No, and I think he needs investigated, truly.
Yep. 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 Dago, you're a good man. I appreciate you. Let me up on panel night.
Hey, oh, no problem, buddy. Anytime.
And you made me a mod, which is so cool.
Well, you've been here more than long enough, my friend.
It's only about 2 years.
That's a long time.
Yeah. Well, you're worth it, man. You're
Well,
a good man.
I do appreciate it. As are you. That would be amazingly interesting, Phil. How shocking would it be if the governor's pardon was already part of the deal? Oh shit! Wow. Can you guys imagine that?
It's a possibility. It's a possibility.
Now,
Man,
I'll tell you this much.
The way he came so fast and just saying,
He was
I
very
did
comfortable.
I did it. I can't accept that. I can't accept that there's something going on.
Well, and that's the
Something
thing
going on.
I said. He was very comfortable and he was very, very confident when what he said.
Right.
And that's what has, I think, shocked the world.
Yeah. With this nice tan and his nice haircut, different color, red. Now he's a redhead.
Right, and it definitely would, Phil. It would definitely explain the quickness, the fact that the defense didn't even play. They're ready to get that sentencing done, so on and so forth. And if it were to be that once he's sentenced to prison, as soon as he goes in, that he's pardoned, that would be insane, Phil. And
Yeah.
then once he's pardoned, then he can. First off, he would definitely have to go into hiding, in my opinion. But he would have
Oh
to.
yeah. Oh yeah.
There would be a civil suit filed immediately. And yeah, that would be a hellacious, interesting situation.
Oh my God. You're so correct.
Well, I think the governor would be able
Dago.
to pardon as a state prisoner. The governor could have pardoned him. The president would have to be a federal situation. I do believe that's how that works.
But what kind of life would he have? It really would suck.
Well,
I'm
he
sure.
wouldn't have one. He'd definitely have to kind of change his appearance a little bit
He'd
and maybe
go
leave
into
the area.
hiding. He'd have to go into hiding and shit.
I think he definitely would be protected for a while. Because there would definitely be a target on his back for sure at that point.
I think he's being protected now. Just
Yeah.
saying.
Oh, yeah, wholeheartedly. If he was found, oh my God. If he was found not guilty, for sure he'd have to go into hiding.
Yeah. Oh
He's
my
going to have to be somewhere where nobody's going to expect to see him, completely on the opposite, maybe in another Canada. Who knows? I'm just saying. They would have to definitely he'd have to be out of the eyesight of the world for a while.
Yeah, that would be a sucky life, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then later on, he can
Like,
come out.
it's a no-win situation for him if he didn't do it. People are still going to think he did. I mean, if it was proven he wasn't guilty for somehow, he would still have a terrible life. Still.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Most definitely. But at the same time, though, he could quietly, under secret indictment, well, not secret indictment, but he could quietly sue the state of Idaho and become a rich man.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Buy himself a castle somewhere and hide away. That's not a too bad life, I guess.
Yeah, him and his family would have to definitely take off.
Yeah.
Yeah, his hair wasn't dyed. He got a haircut, and it was a different type of haircut than he's ever had. He had the sides faded to the skin instead of having that style he had. That's why it looked lighter. They thinned his hair way out. That's all.
Yeah, but he had a tan, man. Where did you get that tan?
I think here's the thing. I think that like his defense team can get certain things to him and give him certain things, and I think that maybe that was like one of them tanning lotions to make him look a little bit less, peaked. That's my opinion. I don't know. No other than going out in the yard for an hour a day, maybe. I don't know.
If he's let out, yeah.
You're right.
Because people would kill him, like
Yeah,
out in the yard. Hello, oh Brian Gober, you fucker.
I think they said that they allowed him to be outside like an hour a day. So if he was out there in the sun, then that was that.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they can't keep him locked away 24/7 because that's inhumane nowadays. They don't allow for that. It could have been the lighting in the courtroom, by the way, too, you guys. Think about that.
Well, yeah, that's true. But I'm a lighting designer, and I don't believe that. So.
Yeah, I think it was just normal. Like I said, the dude had his haircut completely different than he's ever had. He had, like I said, a fade on the sides, which was way thinner. They thinned the top out, so it just looked lighter because there wasn't as much hair. That's all.
And he just said, guilty, 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 guilty. 5 count. No. Why? We're lost.
I think we'll find out later on, Randy.
All right. God darn it. I hope the 23rd gives us some answers.
I wouldn't get too excited about
anything.
I wouldn't get too excited about the 23rd.
No,
I think that's going to go by like nothing, and then maybe after the fact. Maybe after the fact. We'll see.
If they lift the gag order.
Well, I think they're going to do that after they're not going to do it on the 17th, but after the 23rd, I think they'll lift it. But I think there'll be things redacted and things will stay sealed. That's my opinion.
Like everything, probably.
A lot of it, yeah.
Yeah. We're not going to get anything. We're not going to get anything.
That's why I said I wouldn't get your hopes up because I don't
The only thing I can think is maybe Hitler. Maybe Hitler says instead of, whatever. What is this thing right now?
What's that?
Is okay, can't be. Yeah, okay. No appeals.
Oh yeah, there's no appeals available to him. He waived that right.
And life sentences. He can't get out of prison.
Right.
What can Hitler do? He has the opportunity to back that off. What could he do? What could he do? Give him less years or?
Well, the only thing that Hitler is able to do, he said this himself, he is limited to what he can do, you guys. That's a fact.
Right.
The only thing he can do is he doesn't have to agree to the sentence. Hitler can change that. I'm not going to say that he is. I'm just saying he can. Right. Also, if Brian were to come in to rescind and he rescinds his order, then Hitler can, they'll go that direction then, and maybe it'll go back to trial. Maybe it'll be, I don't know. I don't know how that would go.
Right. So he could come in and say, no, I've changed my mind. I'm not accepting the plea deal, and it goes to trial. Do you think it would be that simple?
No. There's a process with all that. He would have to explain. From what I read, he has to explain and show proof as to why he lied when he lied when he said this. Now, Sarge did make a good point. He can say, not that he would, but ineffective counsel because he didn't understand it. And Hitler's going to say, but you said you did. And he'll say, well, I spoke to, or I read something and I completely misunderstood this, and this. And they have to take that for what it is. Right. They have to take him at his word, and then they'll put forth a motion to rescind the plea. And another hearing will happen for change of plea hearing again.
Right.
And then once that goes forth, of course, the prosecution's going to fight it. Believe that. Okay.
Right.
And they're going to have to listen to both sides again. And then it'll, if it passes through, if Hitler allows, then it goes back to trial. Yes.
Right.
Now, I don't know if they'll keep the same trial date. Maybe that could change. Maybe they'll extend the trial then out And I don't know how that would work, and maybe that was a reason for doing this because he didn't get continuance on the trial. Who knows? I'm gonna have to look that part up.
Yeah.
See if he were to do that and he rescinds his plea, if it would go right back to August 11th, or if they would extend the trial date.
Right.
Because that would be an interesting thing if it
Yeah.
were to continue.
It would. Yeah.
Another year. Hi, Gene. Good to see you, dear. So if that's the
Hi,
case,
Gene.
I'm going to look that up, by the way. I'm going to write that down so I can look that up.
Got your notepad there.
Oh, I always have it in front of me. It's always here.
Yeah, mine's a little short.
Okay.
But you're right. You're totally right.
It's up to Hippler. No extension immediate. Right. Well, okay. We'll see. I'll see what options I get when that. But that's what I thought, is that it would just automatically go right back to the August 11th date, and they would commence like they did.
Makes sense to me. Yeah.
I'll see if there's any stipulations with that.
Are you going to run that live, by the way?
Hold on a minute here. Hippler can do nothing. He has already accepted and signed off on the plea. He cannot back up the train. Brian is the only one that can rescind. Yeah, that's what I mean. If Brian comes in and says, I want to rescind my plea, he can't lessen that. Well, he did say, though, Phil, in the hearing, that he doesn't have to accept the sentence, that he can change the sentence based on the law of the state.
Right. Right.
That's all he said. He said he does have the ability to do that. And
which means he can rescind the plea.
If Brian rescinds the plea, that's when the motion gets made for a hearing for this, and then they have to go through all that bullshit. That's what I read.
Right. Back to Dago. Are you going to run that live that day?
Oh, yeah. Of course. I'll be here from beginning to end, as I have been with the rest of them, of course.
Because there's going to be 5,000 true crimers.
Yep.
Put it up. I just want to know who's the best man to watch. And it's probably you.
Well, whoever decides where they want to go, my door's always open. So,
Lucy Morningstar.
And that's the other problem too. Even if he rescinds that, everything he said in that plea hearing can be used against him in court. That's the bad part of this.
Right.
It would make the defense's job even harder with the jury, because now the jury, they know that the man pled to it at some point, and they're going to want to know why. And that's got to be explained in a way that the jury is going to be understanding to it.
Right.
Heather said if Q1.1 is a match to BK, 1.2 is a female victim, 1.3 is a second female victim, and Q1.4 is a fourth person. Meaning what, Heather? What are you getting at with that?
Yeah, Lucy. I'm lost on that one. I love Lucy Morningstar, but I don't know what that means at all.
Judges have done that in trials when the defendant didn't get the death penalty. They ignored the jury and gave them the death penalty. So okay, here's the thing. That's another question. Does anybody know that if he rescinds his plea, does the death penalty go right back on the table?
I wouldn't think so.
Oh, no, yeah, I knew that.
Well, God, maybe. I don't know that.
That's what I wonder, is everything goes right back into play as it would. You know what I mean? Hippler is bound by statute with a death penalty prosecution. The only option for a plea is life without right. Yeah, that's the only way they could do it, I believe. So the death penalty is still on the table. That's what I thought. I just wasn't sure. Unknown male C, aka Q1.4 from the sheath, serological test for the POS for blood, unidentified male. Right. Absolutely.
Well, the sheath has always been the question.
Yeah, he's allowed to change the sentence within the state law, Idaho state law. He did say that in the hearing right towards the end. I remember that. I can play that back for you guys.
He's allowed to what?
I don't know that he will, though.
He's allowed to what? Did you say, Dago?
He's allowed to change the sentence if he doesn't agree to it. Hitler is.
Oh, Hitler. Okay. Excuse me.
No, he was a he's a regular judge, Dean, but he did recently do a lot of malpractice stuff. But he's a death penalty qualified judge, I believe, from what I understood.
This is his first case, isn't it? I think I heard that too.
No,
as a death penalty judge, this is
maybe death penalty qualified. Yeah, I think that could be true. Yeah, he did a lot of civil stuff, like malpractice suits against hospitals or doctors and stuff like that. That's what he was doing previously, but he did do other stuff before that, from my understanding too.
I think he wants out. I don't think he wants to be involved, just like what's his name from before.
John, nobody wanted to touch this chain. Nobody wanted to touch this, and including the prosecution. Like I said, as soon as they ran for the hills. As soon as this came through, if they don't specify first degree as LIP with no parole before 10 years, yes. If it doesn't specify, no parole, but he can force sentence to be served consecutive, not concurrent. But yeah, I got what you're saying. Okay. All right, folks. Well, that's going to do it. Like I said, so these people can get some sleep. Everybody else already took off. Again, Randy, thank you for joining me.
You're the best, Dago. I appreciate you putting me up on panel night. Thank you very much.
Absolutely, sir. I hope you have a great rest of your night. Hope to see you again soon. That goes for all the rest of you. Of course, I'll be here in the morning. Anybody that would like to join us, please do. Appreciate each and every one of your guys' input, thoughts, feelings, and theories on this. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your night. Like I said, don't forget to love yourselves and love each other, and don't change a thing, because you guys are the beautiful people. I'll see you very soon. Good night. God bless.
Good night. Good night, everybody. Good night, chat.
Goodbye, everybody.
At the Hip Hop True Crime Cafe, where the night never turns to day. Jazz notes drip and the whispers play. A beat drops hard then fades away. The waitress serves a side of lies underneath those almond eyes. A cop's badge gleams like a ticking clock, the ticking clock of a midnight plot. Neon flickers, the scene's alive, the espresso's black, the stories thrive. A shot of truth, a shot of doubt, the cafe swallows secrets, spits them out. At the Hip Hop True Crime Cafe,